Israel in exchange for the release of hundreds of Palestinian prisoners. This exchange is scheduled just days before the initial phase of their ceasefire concludes. Iran has significantly increased its production of uranium enriched up to 60%, now possessing 274.8 kilograms as of February 8, 2025. This development brings Iran closer to weapons-grade enrichment levels, intensifying global concerns. A military aircraft crash in Omdurman, Sudan, has resulted in at least 46 fatalities, including women and children, with an additional 10 individuals injured. The Antonov plane crashed during takeoff from Wadi Sayidna Air Base. Dock workers on the U.S. East and Gulf Coast have overwhelmingly approved a 6-year contract, effectively averting a potential strike that could have disrupted the economy. The agreement includes a 62% wage increase.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host or guest and should not be interpreted as statement of fact. Independent fact-checking and corrections are encouraged.
Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
The headphones are off.
Damn good coffee. And hot.
Oh, I'm supposed to do this?
My dog is your mind's best friend.
And then this? Wait, what's going on?
My dog is your mind's best friend.
And then I have to do this.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with a Dog. You make me laugh.
Go ahead, make you laugh. Go ahead. Make me laugh. You say you're a comedian? Comedian? Make me laugh. Got a joke. Get that joke. I had to throw a little Rachel out a little bit into that. Get that joke. Maybe I need to. I'm not deep enough. Good morning, folks. We're gonna see if that loop's on its own, and then if we do, we're just gonna punch the shit out of this fucking computer. Oh!
Wake up, America! You've got a dog that needs.
You thought I was gonna actually do that. There have been times when I've done that. Fucking loopy doopy doopy. Anyway, good morning. I am not punching out the computer because I can't afford another one right now, to be honest with you. I can't just go out and just replace for beating up. There was a day where I would just do it. I would just bite the bullet. I beat up the computer and then go spend like $3,000 on a new computer. Those days are long gone. Anyway, it's Friday. We seem to have almost sort of made it through another week. In hour 2 today, we're going to have a fellow named Andy Dietrich. No relation to Marlena. I would still like to watch him put his stockings on. The fuck is wrong with me? He is a former vet. You're a vet. You're not a former vet. You're a vet. And I don't mean a veterinarian. I mean a vet. But an immigrant vet from Germany. Obviously, with a name like Dietrich, what would you expect? No, he's from Swahili. I don't even. Swahili is a language. I'm going back to bed. You guys do the show. I mean, you audience people, all 3 of you, 9 of you, whatever it is out there. And I'm just gonna take a nap. Here's the thing. If you were handed, let's just say a book, somebody hands you a binder, let's say not a book, but a binder full of pedophile crimes and the worst rapes and just documented, what would your reaction be? Because for the MAGA right, it seems the reaction would be, and I'm not kidding here, I should share this just to show you. The MAGA right, if you hand them a book full of pedophile crimes and deviant behavior, their reaction, I'm not kidding, their reaction is to dance a weird fucking dance. Here you go. This is them doing what they do best. We got pedophiles, bum, bum, bum. We got, this is highly inappropriate. Also, the cowboy hat dude, I'm not sure who that is, but I think he belongs in the Village People. And what's going on with his little luggage there? I don't know. His MAGA hat and the luggage dropping shit. But there you go. Now, if that were me, I would not be doing the happy dance about how do I end this stupid thing? There you go. Yeah, this is the reaction. Now, as expected by probably just about anybody with a brain, a lot of the stuff is redacted, blacked out. And some people on the right are surprised by that. Oh, guess what? Guess what got redacted? Guess what got redacted? I'm betting somebody said that Steven's saying that was AI. I don't think that was AI. No, I don't think that was AI. It was shot live and it was carried live. And you saw those people doing the TikTok dance. We'll talk about that. It could be, if it is, I will stand corrected. But no, it's just about every credible source is talking about it this morning. We'll see if there's evidence that it's AI. I don't think it is. Anyway, I can't wait to get Steven in here to clarify why he believes that's AI. Somebody say, look at the suitcase. He's saying, we'll get to him in just a moment. But so anyway, the thing is redacted, and the right-wing people are angry and surprised. And what you can bet on, and now Trump's name is mentioned in the flight logs, but you could bet that they're not going to redact it. If it says Bill Clinton was boffing a 7-year-old girl or something, they're not going to redact that. Trump's FBI is not going to redact that. They're going to put that in bold letters. So you can assume that anything that is redacted incriminates either Trump or somebody in his circle or somebody high in the MAGA ranks. That's what I would assume. Now, some people, and I've been hearing for weeks that the Kool-Aid is starting to wear off a bunch of people and they're all starting to turn on Trump. Dave Portnoy, Barstool Dave, who's one of the biggest Kool-Aid drinkers out there, posted last night some stuff that he seems that Trump lost them a little bit. I just want to see if I can find this really quick and read his little statement there. I can't. Damn it. It's too far. Oh, yeah, here's Dave Portnoy. He said, I'm going to be fair. These questions need to be asked today. Why is the release of the Epstein list always a shit show? That's a good point. It is always a shit show. Just release the fucking thing. Don't redact anything. Just put it out there. Why are you hiding stuff? If it's why bother releasing it to hide the stuff? The next point he makes is, what's the point of booting out illegals and criminals while somehow becoming a safe haven for the Tate brothers? I don't know. I didn't know Andrew Tate had a brother, but Andrew Tate is absolutely everything they hate. And he should be hated. He's a sex trafficking rapist, right? He should be hated. So you got that. Let me see. I just hit the wrong button and lost that for 1 second. Let me just pull up the other. Now, because again, remember, this is Dave Portnoy, a guy who was deep in MAGA Kool-Aid. Why is crypto in the toilet if Trump is the crypto king? Which I can answer that. Everything Trump has ever touched, every business, everything he's ever touched, starts out good on day one. People jump in, buy stock, buy in, and then it goes to shit. Everything for the last 40 years. You can track it from Trump Steaks to Trump Magazine, Trump Airlines, the USFL, everything Trump has been involved in. Trump Towers, Trump Casino, all of it. It all goes in the tank. So if Trump is the crypto king, which, it's just another thing that people just jump on, Trump media, or whatever that was, that Truth Social. Everything he does, everything he creates turns to shit pretty quickly. And then his last question is, how far does Tesla stock have to crash before Elon goes back to work? So it appears that Trump has lost good old Dave Kool-Aid. Anyway, I'll bring in the boys and we'll talk to Stephen and have him clarify why that's AI. He hasn't made the convincing argument in text, but let him speak his mind, and then maybe he'll convince me. Anyway, before we bring him in, there's always a dopey commercial that we want you to spend money. Buy the book. You got to buy the book. And if you can't buy the book, buy something to get high with.
With humble East Coast beginnings in 2015, Daily High Club is the premier destination for glass water pipes, vaporizers, and consumption accessories. If you're looking to elevate your smoking game to the next level, you're in the right place. With over 1 million top-quality smoking products sold, and with a growing base of over 10,000 monthly subscribers worldwide, we deliver the ultimate smoking experience. But Daily High Club is not just a retailer, we're lovers of the smoking scene ourselves, working with giants like Tommy Chong, Snoop Dogg, Chanel West Coast, and more. Ready to join the Daily High Club? Let our experts curate your collection with our awesome El Primo monthly subscription box, or grab one of our fun and unique pieces from our smoke shop. Click the link in the description below this video to get this party started now.
This is an acceptable layout. I'm not certain I like being a top guy. But in the room with me now, Stephen, that's AI. I don't even know what Tillman.
No, it's Ortiz still. I ain't going back.
All right, you ain't going back. Well, you seem to be getting whiter by the day, I have to say. So
I just moved away from the window to avoid my whiteness.
Well, you
can't avoid it.
Double down on your whiteness. Also in the room is Ron. I'm not getting whiter, Kane. And GD, I'm never going to get white.
Good morning, America. MindDogTV.com. How can you tell if you've had your share or blah, blah, blah? Rewind. Good morning, America. MindDogTV.com. How can you tell if you're receiving your fair share of hardships? Fuck. Learn to never mind. Fuck it. I can't read this. I need light.
Are you a retard?
I am. I need light. I need light. I can't see this in the dark.
All right, here you go. Let there be light.
I'm right here.
I got it. Okay. How can you tell if you're receiving your fair share of hardships? Learn to tally and compare your hardships. Also convert your hardships from imperial to metric and vice versa. Order the hardship app from minddogtv.com for free and get that book, How to Use Your Hardship app, for only $29.95. MindDogTV.com. Enjoy the suffering and support your local mercenaries.
Who sent you? Get off my train. Are you snooping my phone calls? Is that what's happening?
No, what are you talking about?
Yesterday, I got a phone call from the Hardship Appeasement Center or something. It was a spam call.
With a hardship lollipop?
It's a hardship lollipop. But no, I don't know if the guy was trying to fix me on a debt consolidation loan or whatever it was. I hung up on him. But it was a hardship, I don't know, appeasement center or whatever. And then here you are talking about hardship. What's going on with this hardship?
I'm talking about hardship because the guest in hour 2.
Oh.
That was part of his bio, that he's had his fair share of hardships.
Oh.
And so my question for him is, how do you know that you've had your fair share? What's a fair share of hardships?
Yeah,
how do we know he's not being a big-ass baby about it?
Or
right.
maybe,
And are these hardships measured in metric or imperial? That's what I want to know.
oh,
But
I
isn't it
know,
more than
'cause
likely
I'm
that
a
he?
soft ship guy.
Isn't it more than likely though he won't show up because of a hardship?
No,
That would be
no, he will show
poetic.
up.
And I have issues with the title of his book. It's
Play
stupid.
stupid games, win stupid prizes. Is that
Right,
Well,
right.
That's just the
Because,
PG version of fuck around, find out is all that
yeah,
is.
according to either it was either Homer or Shakespeare, one of those two said there are no stupid prizes, only stupid winners.
Yeah, well, Homer Simpson said donuts. Anyway, that
Wait, before you get to that, I just want to explain to the people who might be listening for the first time. On this show, we like to be very rude to our guests before they even get here. It's what we do every day. And now
That's how we weed them out.
Now, with the explanation of why it's AI, here is Stephen the White Man Ortiz. Stephen the White Man without a name. The name was
Even
White.
with 2 left feet, Ortiz.
All right, go ahead. Why?
no Fido cheese. Okay, anyways, I watched that basically that clip via several news sources. They never danced. If you watch the suitcase, how the suitcase turns into a glob and starts like
doesn't turn into a glob. I'm looking at it right now.
Play it again. Play it again.
I don't have it up on the screen anymore.
I have a suggestion for you, Stephen. And since you're not sure about your last name, well, you said you're going to leave your last name, but it seems like there's some friction involved. Just change it slightly to no T's. Okay, so it's not Ortiz, it's no T's.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, right.
Or Tees.
Hold on.
So because there's antes, but T's. Okay, because the and or ifs and buts. So change it to but T's.
Hey, watch the suitcase. See?
No, it doesn't turn into.
Yeah, yes, it does. Watch. There's a newspaper grows out of the back of it.
The hand that comes up.
It's a hat.
I promise you, if you run that through an AI recognition software, it'll tell you that it's AI.
Yeah, that doesn't look right. And then
that is
the pictures
100%
disappear
AI.
when they hit the ground.
Also, look at the guy right here on the far left. Watch the binders. They morph into one, and then it turns into newspaper, then it disappears into his head. It's AI.
So it's an AI video.
Yeah.
100%.
Butter me with Crisco and call me a mule.
And none of them and they don't look like they have shadows.
Yeah,
they only have sometimes shadows.
These
See, like
guys
that bag has a bigger shadow, but his feet and his body aren't casting the same type of shadow.
These guys walked out of the White House with these. They were smiling pretty heavily. They looked happy, but they never danced.
The kids look like retards.
All right. Oh, I didn't break anything, did I? I was on sharing.
You probably did break something.
I did. Anyway, I don't know. I'm seeing too many people who were there who are swearing they were actually dancing to it. I don't know. And they're all very credible sources.
Okay, then here's a possibility. They danced and nobody recorded it, so somebody decided to reconstruct it.
Yeah, or maybe it is just AI. But there are other angles of this too.
They looked unquestionably.
Well, look at this.
They looked unquestionably happy when they left the White House.
Why would they?
Yeah, they looked thrilled when they left. They looked happy.
I know.
But
all right, well, let's just stipulate that it's AI. But come back to they looked unquestionably happy. They are all right wingers. They were handpicked by Pam Bondi. Why would they be happy knowing Trump's name is in it and Bill Clinton not like? You don't see.
Maybe they hadn't read the report yet, and they're just assuming that it was a gotcha thing.
I guess.
In other words, they're saying they hadn't read the report. They're expecting Clinton. They're expecting certain things to be there, and they're still in denial about the Trump stuff. That's all rumors. That's hearsay. That's never happened. So we got the proof. We have the receipts. And then they look at the receipts and go, "Oh, we should have read this before we danced."
Yeah.
Well, maybe Trump's name shows up on like the flight logs or whatever. Maybe it shows up maybe they've been able to remove them from places and redact them in places where it'll do serious damage, and maybe they're just going to show them on the flight log because according to like People magazine, I'm seeing news places popping up saying that his name is in the documents for sure.
It is.
So
it's in there twice.
I imagine whatever they found on Trump must be something easy for him to work his way out of, and what they found on everybody else is just worse.
Well,
the only thing I find hard to believe is that they have him on the plane twice in 1993. I think it said 1993. It said with his wife and Tiffany, and I never thought he took Tiffany anywhere.
I don't even know who Tiffany is.
Would probably be a baby, right? Like,
well, that's when he because Tiffany was born after he divorced Ivanka and he married Marla.
Marla Maples. Yeah. You remember Chuck Jones suit? Well, we could talk about that, but but I think she was born like in the early 90s, so she was probably a baby. The reason he would bring her is because at 2 years old, that's pretty below Jeffrey Epstein's rape standard. I think they have to be at least 3.
I can't even believe this bit is still going on. It's like we all know you guys. It's even I don't know. This is just a bullshit story. The only reason that it's still around is a distraction. We get it.
It's definitely a distraction.
Everyone, most people believe that all those people on that list were doing something. I think that's what most people believe. And at this point, you just keep releasing these redacted documents, just reinforces everything.
Right. I think redacting it makes it look worse. Now, I had some interactions with some cult members yesterday who just can't. There's nothing they could ever see fault in Trump for. But to me, redacting it makes him look guilty, even more guilty than even if you just read it out loud. It looks like you went out of your way to hide, because you're the person in power releasing this stuff. Why you wouldn't be releasing it if it had your enemies or somebody else? The only reason you're redacting it is to cover up for yourself.
And what I'm saying too is, just say this was just a normal life. If you were a normal guy and you were involved in this in your life, wouldn't most of your friends be like, yeah, that guy is fucking kids?
Yeah. Absolutely. That's exactly the point I made to somebody I've known since I was 13 years old. Yesterday on Facebook, a woman, she was trying to say that Trump had been estranged for Epstein for almost 30 years. I was like, no, that's not the case. We have Epstein in 2017 on tape talking about his best and closest friend, and she just couldn't. I brought her 3 different versions of the tape, one from a right-wing source, 2 from AP and other sources like that. But she, I knew she was going to jump right to fake news. It's all fake. The tape is, they verify that's actually his voice. Like all this stuff. You can't accept the fact that this is a guy we've known for years, talked about his daughter being a piece of ass, wanting to have sex with his own daughter, talked about that in public while she was a child. I mean, come on. He bragged about perving on 15-year-old girls in the Miss Teen. How do you fucking keep trying to make excuses for that guy? And I said, if this was me, you'd be, of course Matt did that.
Now there's footage of Trump going down an escalator, and there's a girl coming up on the escalator up the other side, and she's 11, and he says, man, she's hot or something like that. I could date her. And they said she's 11. He says something to the effect, I'll see her in 7 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, here's the real question. If you see that list, I think all you have to do is ask yourself, would you leave your kids alone with anybody on that list?
No, obviously.
There we go.
No.
I think that sums it up. That's all you have. Right there is your answer. If you can't leave your kids
move the
alone
needle for the
with anyone on that list, well, except for Stephen Hawking, because he may not be able to take care of them. But everyone else can take care of those kids.
I'd leave my kids with Stephen Hawking because they could outrun him.
I just want to make one correction. I made an error, and I just want to correct it. It says here that this is, I think, CNN, that Trump was he's mentioned 7 times The two incidences I refer to, there's one in 93, that's October 11th, and that's 2 days before Tiffany was born. The one that actually mentions Tiffany was May 15th, 1994, and he was with Marla Maples, Tiffany, and a nanny who I guess was there for either Trump or Tiffany.
All right. But Dave Portnoy, because I've been hearing for a couple of weeks now that right wingers are starting to turn on Trump, and I didn't see any evidence of that in the real world until I saw Dave Portnoy's post yesterday, where he seemed to be off the Trump train completely, like questioning all and fed up. So that to me, that's hope that one guy is actually the Kool-Aid starting to wear off on him a little bit. He's starting to sober up and realize,
speaking of that, last night, when I was out and about town, because I'm a man of town, and I was at
Man of the street.
Yeah, my wife was playing pool last night. Besides all the comedy was going on, and there were these two guys having this discussion about Trump, and the one guy is still a Trump supporter, and the one guy, I guess, at one point a couple years ago was a Trump supporter, but he no longer is. And they're having this back and forth, and the guy is telling them, he's like, "Oh yeah, it's so good. They're getting rid of all these people." And the other guy's like, "No, it's not. I was a federal worker my entire career. You're getting rid of the good people that can do their jobs." It's like, this is completely wrong. It was just interesting to see a guy that was there at one point in his life no longer there.
Right. And the ripple effect hasn't even happened yet. So here's what I mean by that. In the VA, which are federal workers, all doctors, nurses, orderlies, everybody who works in the VA are federal workers. And there are a lot of them who got laid off. A lot of the facilities that I work at, there are people that are let go and they're understaffed now.
And a lot of them are vets too.
Right. And those people go home and support their families with their checks. Now, those people are not going to be spending. It's going to have a ripple effect on the economy, no doubt. But also the vets. Remember, we care about the vets. The vets that no longer have health care, and the doctors and nurses looking after them and all this kind of stuff. And there are several facilities have been shut down because of this mystery disease that they're indefinitely closed. It's already starting to.
Yeah, that's one of my big beefs with Scott Perry, because Scott Perry is, he claims to be a veteran. Well, I give him shit about that, but he always claims to love the troops and shit like that. But that motherfucker's always voted against veterans and shit like that. It's like, go fuck yourself.
I just got a text.
I'll go fuck him right now.
He'd probably like it.
Yeah, he would.
And plus, that narrative of him being an emasculated disgrace, it took time to build that narrative.
Oh, I'll put him in a little schoolgirl outfit and fucking ruin him. Let's go.
The other part of this that I don't think anybody has talked about is if Medicare cuts happen, big time Medicare cuts happen, being kind of in that nursing home, rehabilitation, assisted living facility world. I know for a fact that a lot of these facilities want to keep all their beds full to be able to pay their staff. Now, a lot of those people can't pay their own bills, so the facility just arranges to take whatever Medicare will pay for their stay there. If Medicare gets cut, those people are going to end up homeless, but also all those people who work in that industry are going to be fucked. These are not federal employees. These are just people who work in healthcare industries are going to be out of a job. And where does that come in as? Because I don't think people realize how big the institution of elder health care is and nursing homes and all that. There's one on every fucking block.
And the last time they fucked with, take that back. That wasn't federal though. When the Affordable Care Act was first established, and states could like opt in and opt out, there were a few southern states that decided not to opt in. And they had to close hospitals because those hospitals weren't getting funding.
Right.
And so they lost money and they had to close hospitals in rural areas. Damn.
Slap it and slap it and get me some Obamacare. Sorry, I heard you say Obama, and that just popped into my
I know,
head.
because I was thinking of Alabama at the same. I was trying to figure out the southern states that lost hospitals. I'm thinking of Alabama and Obama.
You got Obama and Alabama mixed up? What
No,
the fuck?
in my brain, because I'm look to in my brain it's one sentence, and I'm trying to get the words together that I want, and then I don't know if I want Alabama because I'm not sure if that's accurate. That's why I changed it to southern states.
Oh my fucking god!
This question, ripple effect on the economy is going to be, because it's like the prison system. People don't realize how much money is generated by the prison system and all those workers.
Are you gonna participate in that protest of not to buy anything today?
Well, seeing as how my wife
tomorrow,
and everything, and I'm broke as shit, I'm doing it for a while.
I know I'm buying a pizza.
Here's the deal.
It's Friday.
I have a. I thought it was tomorrow, the no business day. And I have a thing, and I'm like, I can't. That money's already been spent, but so I kind of want to participate in whatever kind of no business protest would. But I've already booked this thing. If I don't show up, that's kind of rude.
Yeah,
and unprofessional.
it's for today. Yeah,
it is today.
Yeah.
Well, I'm buying a pizza. So other than that, and that's because I buy pizza every Friday.
I won't buy anything
this
today.
little mom and pop place.
I can make. I want to though. I think it's time that people start hitting the streets and just saying, "I'm fed up with this shit," and mass protest. Get on the White House lawn or in front of the White House. So,
it's coming. I think it's coming because like we have talked about before, and you mentioned yesterday about the guns, because we've been talking about that for months and months. That if anyone's going to take guns, it will be these conservatives, and they're already putting shit out there. So something has to break here soon.
Yeah,
and I'd say it's going to be sooner than later.
Yeah, you would think, but I'm hopeful that there will be more of these people who are actually on the right, been sucked in by the con man for whatever 8 or 9 years, who are just starting to open their eyes and say, he's hurting me now. Because there's a lot of them who are noticing, hey, you promised to hurt the people I don't like. You never said you were going to come after me. And they're surprised that it's affecting them now. So maybe, who knows? Maybe there's hope.
Yeah, and honestly, I think most people are just like, I just want to fucking live my life. I just want to go do my fucking job and not have to worry about all this fucking shit. And now you have these people, and now they're like fucking caught up in all this shit.
Yeah.
And now everyone's fucking nuts. But I think most people just want to go to fucking work and live their life, go get drunk and drive later that day, and hopefully make it home without killing somebody. And if you do, that's part of America.
There are a lot of these people who never used to pay attention to politics at all. In some way, they yearn for that day where they could just not have to care, not even really know who the vice president was. That's how oblivious they were. Some of them didn't even know who the president was, or definitely didn't know who the Speaker of the House was. But now they know, because they're since Trump has been, they followed it like show business. But I think they yearn for the days where they didn't have to. They didn't have to know. It was, that ignorance is bliss type of thing. And I think they're getting burnt out. But, that's just hope.
Well, speaking of Nazi burnout. Oh, go ahead, Ron.
I was just going to say, quick, what about the burnout of the people that still say, well, I don't vote for anybody. I couldn't vote for Kamala. I couldn't vote for Trump, so I didn't vote at all. Those people, I think, are going to have to deal with a reckoning.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. So speaking of that, have you guys seen that Kanye got his X account back? And over the last 20 hours or so, he has posted, for all jewelers, I'm looking for a swastika chain design. Please submit to his email address. Then he posts an article about the Nazi connection to Shambhala and Tibet. Then he goes up and says, it's always been a dream of mine to walk around with a swastika tee on.
I did not even know he was banned from X. But the question is, since he's writing all that stuff and was welcomed back on X, what the fuck did he do to get banned?
Well, his account was deactivated right after his Super Bowl commercial. and his account was deactivated. But apparently it's come back, and now he's just plastering swastika shit everywhere.
Remember, you're talking to a very culturally unhip, the most culturally unhip person ever. What was the Super Bowl commercial?
He spent, $10 million, $15 million on a commercial of him in a dentist chair, ranting and then telling everyone to go to his website. And then when they went to his website, that's where he had the swastika t-shirts that were for sale. And then his X got shut down immediately on X. And I guess it's back again.
Was the dentist chair thing like a homage to Marathon Man with the Nazis? Is it safe?
I don't know what you're referring to, but I'm sure you can find the commercial online again and pull it up. It was a Super Bowl commercial.
All right. In the Marathon Man, Dustin Hoffman is trying to track down Nazi stolen diamonds, and one of the war criminal Joseph Mengele types is a dentist drilling his teeth and saying, "Is it safe?" He knows he's working with the government. He wants to know if it's safe to go get the diamonds, and he's drilling his teeth without anesthesia.
I found it.
Yeah, that's why I put that image up of that movie, The Green Room. That if you want to check out a fun and fascinating movie, it's called The Green Room, and it's about a punk hardcore band that gets this gig for these. They show up to the gig and they find out that it's for neo-Nazis, and J.K. Simmons plays the head neo-Nazi. And let's just say it gets rather violent. It gets rather violent.
I don't even have to see the movie to know that J.K. Simmons plays that part perfectly.
Well, he did a great job in Oz.
Yeah, he was.
And like everything he did after that.
Oh, dude, he's one of my absolute favorite actors. He's one of my favorite actors on the planet.
And Whiplash, he was he was a Nazi in that. But
I just watched Whiplash again. I love that movie, even though he's fucking terrifying in it.
Yeah.
Oh, Whiplash was so good. Oh my god.
I had a band leader.
Is that the drum one?
Who was like,
Okay.
Yeah, he's just like a maniac drum. He's
like, play it faster, double time, faster.
My tempo. And throwing shit at you and all that stuff. I had a band leader who he had a short arm, and he would go, "You come here," and he would do, "Come here," and as you got close, he punch you in the face with this arm. Yeah, Jake. Yeah, that was it with the baton hand. Like,
that guy also made another movie called Blue Room, which is very violent also. And it's a revenge thriller.
Red Room.
He has like a Crayola. He has like this Crayola thing.
I fucking hope so, because the other fucking two movies are fabulous. But if you like violence and like very like graphic and realistic violence, those movies are the ones for you. Because there's a scene in Blue Room where there's a shootout that happens in a living room, and it's fucking brutal. It's fucking brutal.
So the answer to the question is no, that Yee thing had nothing to do with Marathon Man. I don't know why he's in a dentist chair, but it's not doing anything.
Maybe the person who, because he probably didn't write his own script, and the person who, he probably got a Nazi friend to do it,
It wasn't, it didn't even look scripted. It just looked like he was in a chair ranting.
Yeah. No, I'm saying, but the person who shot it, the person who set up the shot, probably may have
shot it himself. He shot it on his cell phone.
Yeah, that was the one for the Super Bowl that aired during the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Imagine that, shooting an ad for the Super Bowl, spending $10 million on something you shot on your fucking iPhone or something. Wow. I wish I had that kind of money just to throw away and not do anything positive or good with it for somebody. $10 million, you could do a whole lot of good with $10 million. Anyway, so
you could actually you could donate paintings to the homeless for that kind of money.
Donate, you say? Donate is
Hey, as long as you thank the homeless for their service, it's okay.
All right.
Here's a painting to hang up in your cardboard box.
This will actually make a great windbreak. Here, put this up on that side.
Yeah. I don't.
These are oil based. They'll burn really well if you get cold.
So Stephen, are you officially homeless now, Stephen? Or because you have a friend who's taking you in, but if I have taken friends in, but at some point you get like, hey, we're friends. I like
Yeah.
it.
Does your jaw hurt yet, Stephen?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm asking.
No, when I say buddy, he's basically my brother. He was the guy in my wedding. He's been my best friend for 12 years.
I don't care. I don't care if it's your identical twin. Sooner or later, people get sick of each other. Like,
do you realize how good for the show it would be if Steven was being chained up to a wall every day and his friend is just face fucking him? How good would that be for the show?
Well, we'd have to blur out we'd have to blur out any cock pick.
I guess if you want to be technical, I am homeless. I have no car. I just have my clothes, and that's it, and my computer. But my buddy who took me in, he's lived with me in the past when he's had issues. He lived with me for 1.5 years. We worked together. I mean, so he took me in. He goes, he's already considering putting a mini house in his backyard for me. So, or converting his shed into an apartment.
Hold on, that just proves what I was saying. He's considering investing in a mini house to get you the fuck out of his house.
Well, no, it's because his house isn't really accessible either. Like I still have to crawl into his bathroom.
Yeah.
Crawl? Yeah.
Wow.
I have to crawl. Yeah.
Can we get that on video for Monday show?
Oh, I was doing it I was doing it at my house too. So
wouldn't it be cheaper to just get you a bucket?
I mean, yeah.
You cut a hole in the bottom of the chair and put the bucket underneath.
Oh.
Are you at least having conversations with your wife, or are you guys not talking?
That's what I was going to get. Communication.
So at the moment I'm just giving her time to. I guess I'm just giving her time to. I'm giving her time to. No, I'm giving her time to miss me. I'm not giving myself time to wallow in it. Like I've removed myself from her social media. Like unfollowed her. I've removed my ability to track where she's at via our family plan through Apple. Like I'm just giving her time to breathe, see if me being gone and she misses me, and if not, then so be it. If that's where her happiness is, then I think I'm to the point where I can accept it. I got off yesterday just because I'd gotten a text from somebody else and it just kind of triggered something and just kind of spiraled. But I think I'm to the point now where I'm accepting.
You could tell the truth. You could tell the truth. We had a bear on with an Aussie accent. Steven dropped off because he could not wait to fucking jerk off.
I mean, to be fair, I could have done it on cam. You would never have noticed. It's so small. But but no, like I said, I just but effectively, yes. To answer your question, I'm homeless, and I'll figure it out.
I'm sorry, man. I didn't want to, drag your personal shit on. I just was hoping that time and communication.
Well, it's only been 3 days, and I figured in my logic, if I'm gonna give her time to miss me and think about this, I need to be gone longer than I would be gone on a comedy trip or in the hospital. So I figure it's gonna take a week or two just to even really talk. But I mean, eventually, even if we don't get back together, we have to talk. We have to do the divorce. I have to get her off my phone plan. Like there's a bunch of shit that still has to be done. So either way, we're gonna have to. But I'm just trying to give it time to see if things can be fixed or not. So
wow. In the meantime, if she needs some dick, she can call me. I'm just kidding. I don't have a dick.
You must be the Monopoly guy.
All right. Hey. Whatever. I'm sorry. I didn't. That's inappropriate. I really apologize.
It is what it is at this point. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've had ladies reach out, but I'm not mentally where I needed to be to even consider that as an option. So if she is cool, then obviously then this was pre-planned and good for her. But
all right,
unrelated. Is what it is.
What you know? I know you know the answer to this question. What is stream sniping?
Stream sniping. Well, it depends on what the stream is. So, for example, if you're a gamer, like you're playing, like let's say Fortnite or whatever. People who are trying to play against you will pull up your stream, find out where you're at in the game, and they'll kind of gang up on you and take you out. If you're somebody who's live streaming at a location, people might find where you're at physically and show up and try to crash your stream.
Hypothetically, the scenario is this. I'm doing this show now. Somebody says they want to stream. They're doing a show and they wanted me to be on the show. This is hypothetically. It's not the case. But they want me to be on their show right now. And I said, well, I'm on the air. And he said, that's okay. I can stream snipe.
Yeah, I think that counts because that's kind of what other streamers do is they'll snipe content to react to it on their streams and shit. So
I don't understand how it would work technically. Like, so I could be on 2 streams at once.
I mean, I would imagine it's not impossible to it's probably not completely impossible to grab someone's live stream and just patch it through theirs.
What happened to our chat room in the last couple of days?
I don't know. Yeah. Is it still kind of all the gay kind of lingering?
I don't think it has anything.
No, it hasn't been very active.
We have people on Instagram. We have people. You know what? I found out on Rumble. These are not big numbers, but on Rumble over the last 2 years, we've done 2 million views on Rumble. And my paycheck, well, I'm not going to get paid, but the amount in my account is 20 cents. For 2 million views, 20 cents. So it'll be a while before I get to I think you have to get to $100 limit before they'll send you anything. So I'm not going to get anything from them. But it's just curious. We have people on Rumble. We never hear from them in the chat room. I'm not sure. You know what? It's probably not tied into StreamYard, that part of it, because we use an RTMP. So I guess we'd have to go there and know about the comments. I do get occasional emails from people commenting or following on Rumble. It doesn't seem like one of those, because that's a super right-wing site. So I imagine, why are they not commenting some hate? I mean, with all the shit we say, I would think the far right people, the far right Canadians would be like, these guys are all.
Maybe it's their kink. Maybe they love to have people just talk bad about them, and it's the only way they can get off.
Possible.
Like omelets better than sex.
Oh, hey,
John Beavers says good morning. By the way, he's driving and can't comment on the stream, but he said good morning.
Did everyone see the stories about Gene Hackman and his wife? Now they're calling it suspicious.
It was always suspicious. Yeah. It was always suspicious. They said they found open prescription drugs in the bathroom, in her bathroom, near where she was found. You know.
What would be? I hate to play like no information internet detective here, but I don't know how old the wife was, but he was 95 or 96.
She was 64, 65 or something like that.
Yeah,
she was 32 years younger.
Daughter. She was the same age as his daughter.
What's the point of killing a guy who's going to die tomorrow anyway?
Well, so I guess the scenario that I see in my head when I heard that they were found both dead, and then I heard about the pills. My guess was maybe
the dog.
Oh, and the dog. My guess is maybe she found him dead. She panicked. She committed suicide. She dropped the pills. Dog ate the pills. The dog died too.
It sounds like a Flip Wilson bit. And the fire caught on the turn of the fire, shot up the walls and the roof started burning. The flock
well, there's some belief too that I think because this is all ongoing, so it's.
Yeah,
I believe
at the moment.
She was dead longer than he was. So that's
what I've heard too. Yeah,
and they ruled out carbon monoxide because they had 2 other dogs and they were still alive. The one was outside and the one was in the house.
So the other dog did it.
Maybe.
Maybe it was a murder, a suicide double murder. The dog.
Fucking dog.
And maybe you never know. Maybe she did kill herself or something, and he was like, oh, and he's 95 for God's sakes. So if he
of all the celebrities, right? Like Gene Hackman, you never really heard anything bad about. At least I never have. He seemed to be fairly under the radar. He was, just living his life. It doesn't seem. I don't know. It's definitely weird. The whole thing seems weird, but I mean, it's. I don't know.
Yeah. So investigators speak out on death of Gene Hackman's suspicious death. Investigators speak out on the deaths of Gene Hackman and Betsy, whatever they cut off her last name, Arakawa. Gene Hackman, actor, and wife, death suspicious. Yeah. Now I'm interested. I wasn't interested when I just thought it was carbon monoxide poisoning, but because I don't think carbon monoxide poisoning is suspicious in any way. It's just stupid. Like I left the oven on and didn't check or whatever.
Well, it can even be something as simple as like a pilot light goes out or something and just starts pumping carbon monoxide into the house. But
if a pilot light goes out, that's going to be gas, not carbon monoxide, and gas smells has a distinctive smell.
They have not ruled out foul play according to this the statement that they give.
I know I didn't rule it out. I suspect that she poisoned herself and probably even him. And the food that she had, the dead dog ate the leftovers. You know, like
maybe she was
flew over the barn and the dog ate the meat and died.
Well, maybe she was just tired of taking care of him and exhausted and just took care of everyone all at once.
You know, and Michelle Trachtenberg, we talked about her yesterday. Her family has declined to do an autopsy.
Yeah, that's suspicious. You get a 39-year-old who's otherwise healthy, drops dead, and you go like, we don't need an autopsy. We're fine.
Well, I thought she had debilitating liver disease or something.
She had some kind of liver issue, I believe. But
it could be a cultural thing. She's Asian, right? It could be a cultural thing.
Trachtenberg?
But
yeah, I'm not sure, but they've declined it. They don't want to do it. Which I'm kind of in GD's camp. I think unless they know something that everyone else doesn't know, which is a distinct possibility.
Yeah, but coming back to the Hackman thing, because she was dead before him, so she couldn't have killed him. Yeah, I think
you can. She could have if she was poisoning him.
Right.
If she was poisoning him, and and also she could have heard him fall. He just didn't die right away. She takes the poison and she is dead because she knows how much to take or whatever. So she dies and he's just dying at the bottom of the stairs.
Well, they're saying he was dead longer than her.
Yeah.
I thought he just said she died first.
I thought she. Yeah.
The stuff I've been reading, like she died before him. See, it's all up in the air.
Like I said, I've read things from People Magazine. I've read things from like CNN and Fox. I've read things from BBC. Like everyone seems to have different information at the moment.
Yeah, we'll know in a month and a half.
Here's what if it was there's usually some kind of motive, right? You don't just kill somebody for no reason. And I mean, money, infidelity, all these kind of.
At 93 years old, like is he? I don't think he's cheating.
Yeah, but why take her? But why kill herself? See, that's the thing. If she's just trying to get rid of him, she doesn't have to kill herself, and she could just wear them out.
Well, that's why I threw out the possibility of maybe he was a geriatric. In comparison, she's in her 60s, but he's 93. She's probably been taking care of him for the last 10, 15 years, and she was probably exhausted.
Maybe she had what they call a senior moment, and she has the poison out. Then she takes it, and she's like, "Damn it, I wasn't supposed to take it.
That was supposed to be Motrin.
I took the wrong one."
Speaking
of that, not baby Tylenol.
Good brew. Links in the description.
Something helpful.
I got a text, an email from the Good Brew guy, Doe, William Doe.
William Doe.
Yeah, he said my sample is in the mail.
You know his middle name is Pizza, William Pizza Doe. I'm sorry, it's not funny. Okay, but have you heard from? Because I did reach out to
the sunglass people.
Podcasting.
Not yet.
They suck. Maybe it's because you're black.
Could be.
Yeah. I wouldn't reach.
Good news. I have basically booked up all of March for Beyond Classified. I'm currently working on April.
Great. And which episode am I on now? I'm just teasing.
Should could you learn how to make the buckets yourself and send out the links yourself and all that stuff? You think you could learn to do that? You think you would learn?
Yeah, I'm sure I could learn to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, because that makes life a lot simpler. Because you're getting all the information about when they're booked, and who's booked when and where and how, and it would be much easier than me having to figure out where to go to find out who's booked when and how and where. I was going to offer if you need some time off from that and need me to. I really don't want to do like paranormal fucking.
I need the distraction.
Yeah, Steven needs a distraction. He needs a distraction.
I can't. I spent it.
Dr. Fenderson had just sent me a note excusing you from, or not non-excusing you, saying you need the work. So fine. I was just putting it out there as an offer.
Yeah, no, I'm not stopping. I need the action. I want to keep building it up, and I appreciate it.
I would make you lose. They would never come back because I would make you lose these guys. I would just say you're full of shit. Fucking past life regression. Oh, I was Elvis at the same time you were Elvis. How is that fucking possible?
Hey,
I was fat Elvis and you were thin Elvis.
Backing up the argument.
We might get.
Hey, Ron is speaking.
I'm not sure. Do you guys know that Shane Gillis is hosting SNL this weekend? So culture cancel isn't real because Louis announced a tour the other day, and Shane is back on SNL. So what about cancel culture?
What about it?
Yeah, it doesn't exist.
You're only canceled if you let everyone cancel you. That's the only way that works.
It's cancel culture if your agent is doing a bad job of getting you booked gigs. If you're not getting the gigs you want, it's cancel culture.
Unemployment culture.
I can't get the gigs I want. I want to perform in outdoor arenas with 40,000 people, and all I can get is Saturday Night Live. Fuck, I'll take it.
Wow. So the detective who responded to the scene, I'm coming back to Hackman. I will let this go in a minute. But said the detective believed the couple had been dead for some time because Miss Arakawa's decomposition and mummification in the hands and feet. Mummification. That's not.
They would have had to been dead for a while, right?
But also, if he's in the basement could just be more moist, and she's upstairs and the air is more dry, so it just dried her out quicker.
But they still would have had to be there for a while.
Yeah, what about maggots? That's the real test.
Yeah, the smell
insect larvae.
The smell would have been the fucking awful opening that house.
But mummification is not.
Well, they said the door was open when they got there.
Yeah, but mummification, in my mind, is not just rigor mortis setting in.
It doesn't matter, even if the door is fucking open.
And other shit, right? Like
I think it means something different for them. That the skin is drying up and dehydrated, as opposed to not like they remove the organs through the nose.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Mummification.
They were just there for a while.
And pathology. I never heard the term mummification used on any.
It's kind of like when you find a rat or a mouse behind your washing machine or dryer, and it's just dried out and crispy.
No, a dead body smells worse than a dead body smells worse than an animal.
Yeah,
there's no other smell like it. That's the term mummification is what's got me a little, because decomposition is common.
I think they misused the term, kind of like misusing the term actuarially.
Right. Well, considering everyone on this show is a coroner, we should be able to answer this.
Speak for yourself. I'm an assistant coroner. I've watched 19 episodes of Quincy M.E.
I had an office adjacent to the coroner for 8 years and worked with him every single day on murder cases. So yeah, I've had that experience.
I guess there's
I heard the term mummification used once in 8 years.
According to Google, There is a phenomenon of natural precocious mummification that can happen within a month of becoming deceased.
The deep state is trying to interrupt you. You hear that? That little. They were trying to stop you from saying that.
That deep state dish pizza.
But yeah, there's apparently.
Go ahead. Keep going.
But yeah, they found, according to this, one of the examples is a 34-year-old man was found 16 days after being last seen alive in a stage of complete mummification.
Mummification. Interesting. I've never heard that term used once, but there you go.
So apparently the body can have natural mummification happen.
Natural mummification. That's a whole different area. All right. So she was mummified, except parts in the hands and feet.
Yeah, the parts that were exposed that could dehydrate quicker.
Right.
You know.
Well, I mean, because I imagine the clothes would probably trap in the stuff that's starting to come out and kind of stay a little moist while it's rotting. Yeah.
And the face is wet because the dog is licking her, trying to wake her up.
The dog was dead.
Dude, I don't know about you guys, but I'm starving now.
They had 3 dogs. 2 of them were alive.
Oh, yeah, you're right. But I thought the living ones were outside, right?
Well, the door was open when they got there.
So that would lead out. The door was open. That would eliminate carbon monoxide poisoning immediately, right? If the door's open, there's fresh air coming in.
Well, they said one of the dogs was alive in the house, so yeah.
No. Now they also could have a doggy door as well, so the dog can come in and out. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. Poison. That to me that makes sense. She had poison. Maybe she vomited it up, and the other dog ate it.
He's part Russian spy. It's poison stuff. It's just so dramatic.
It's the only thing that kind of makes sense because poison can work at different times in different people. She could vomit.
I think the poison
the dog would lick it vomit up because that's what dogs do, which would give him the poison or her. So, but she's already got enough in her system to kill her.
This theory sounds almost as good as my theory that she killed herself after he died because she was tired of him. I think at the end of the day, we're just gonna have to wait for reports to come out.
I don't think so. I think we can take what I said to the bank.
I don't think we have to wait for any report to come out.
I don't have an answer for that.
We can just assume right now that GD did it, and he's trying to cover his tracks by saying shit about it.
First of all, had I done it, this is my OJ moment. Had I done it,
you would have chopped their head off.
I would have profited
house down with them alive in it.
I would have profited from it. I have not profited this in one way.
That's what I was saying about motive. There's got to be some motive here. If it's foul play, nobody murders anybody without a damn good reason. You don't just murder. Well, I shouldn't say that. Ted Burt.
And that was what my mother used to say about me. If I killed someone, I had a damn good reason.
That's right.
And that's why I asked my mother to never testify for me.
Breaking news. Steven's got breaking wind.
English will become official U.S. language in expected Trump order.
Well, it doesn't matter because I speak American anyway. So go somewhere else with your fucking English.
All right, I'm gonna play news. You guys hate news, especially I
like new news. I don't like old news.
Right. Yesterday he said Haitian. Which I thought was, you know what, I would stop it. If I would regenerate the AI once I heard him say Haitian, but Al doesn't care. Yeah, we'll just.
Well, he was thinking Heil Hitler.
But what about Kyle Hitler?
What about what?
I said, what about Kyle Hitler, though?
That was his brother.
We'll ask Andy Dietrich about it when he gets. Oh, look, he got here, but we have to play news.
A military aircraft crash in Omdurman, Sudan, has resulted in at least 46 fatalities, including women and children, with an additional 10 individuals injured. The Antonov plane crashed during takeoff from Wadi Sayidna Air Base, also causing damage to nearby residences.
The incident involved both senior military officers and civilians, with some victims' bodies transported to Now Hospital. The cause of the crash remains under investigation. Kyle Norris reporting.
Iran has significantly increased its production of uranium enriched up to 60%, now possessing 274.8 kilograms as of February 8, 2025. This development brings Iran closer to weapons-grade enrichment levels, intensifying global concerns. Joseph Eckerson reports.
The International Atomic Energy Agency reports that Iran's total enriched uranium stockpile has reached 8,294.4 kilograms. This escalation has heightened tensions between Tehran and Washington, especially under the current U.S. administration.
Hamas is set to transfer the bodies of 4 Israeli hostages to Israel in exchange for the release of hundreds of Palestinian prisoners. This exchange is scheduled just days before the initial phase of their ceasefire concludes.
Israel had previously postponed the release of over 600 Palestinian detainees, citing concerns over the treatment of hostages by Hamas. Both Israeli authorities and Hamas have confirmed that the upcoming exchange will proceed without public ceremonies. Benjamin Wright reporting.
This is the latest news headlines.
President Donald Trump has proposed offering wealthy immigrants a gold card, selling the possibility of citizenship for $5 million. This initiative aims to attract affluent individuals to invest in the U.S. economy.
Critics argue that this policy favors the rich and undermines traditional immigration pathways.
A federal judge in Seattle has blocked President Donald Trump's executive order that aimed to suspend the U.S. refugee resettlement program. The judge ruled that the president's authority has limits and cannot override laws enacted by Congress.
Major refugee aid organizations challenged the order, citing significant harm due to halted funding and processing of refugee applications. The Justice Department is considering an emergency appeal against the ruling. Kevin Sanders reporting.
Dock workers on the U.S. East and Gulf Coast have overwhelmingly approved a 6-year contract, effectively averting a potential strike that could have disrupted the economy. The agreement includes a 62% wage increase, raising hourly pay from $39 to $63. Lawrence Keller with the latest.
Negotiated between the International Longshoremen's Association and the U.S. Maritime Alliance, the contract also addresses automation concerns. While allowing for technological advancements, it ensures the necessity of hiring new workers and prohibits full automation.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
So let me get this straight. 63 times 40. That's like $2,400, more than $2,400 a week gross. And if they do any overtime, it's time and a half on time. That's a good job. That's a very good job. They're making, and if they're doing any overtime, they're grossing $3,000 a week. That's not for blue collar work. Longshoreman work is blue collar work, right? So that's a fucking amazing job.
Just imagine what the CEOs are making. If they're making that, the CEOs are making buku bucks.
Yeah. So here's the deal. Now, Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s explanation of socializing with Jeffrey Epstein. You get it? You ready for his? Because it sounds to me. I'm just going to preface this by saying, you should just shut up. He said, I ran into everybody in New York. I mean, I knew Harvey Weinstein. I know Roger Ailes. I know O.J. Simpson came to my house. Bill Cosby came to my house. It's like, dude, you're just digging the hole way deeper.
But Sugar
Smacks out with one pedophile.
Yeah, but Sugar Smacks now come with an eighth of heroin, so it's great.
Really? Fuck yeah, let's go. Give me some of that.
It's part of the food pyramid now.
I don't get the attraction of heroin. I really don't. Because
no, I don't. I'm good on that. I have enough health problems.
I've seen people.
That's because you're not a true fucking artist. That's why you're not a true fucking artist.
You know what? I think I'm a true artist. My whole life is falling apart. I am homeless. I am the epitome of starving artist. Let's go.
Ramp it up. Now ramp it up, you little bitch, and start getting a heroin addiction. That's the way you go there.
And you would at least show up here fucking drunk off your ass. You'd come in here totally.
I'm high as fuck. I smoked 2 bowls. Read the news.
My life is in the gutter. You're not even fucking drunk. Your life is not in the gutter if you're not fucking at least drunk.
You don't know this about me, but I'm
sorry. Willie was back.
Sending your parents a letter. Tell them you're a whore.
All right, I got to find Andy Dietrich's intro here. Andy Dietrich is the author of Play Stupid Games, Win Stupid Prizes, which I'm sure he's going to get abused by GD for even saying.
Yes.
All right. Well, he's coming in now. He is, look, again, the author of Play Stupid Games, Win Stupid Prizes, short stories about friendship growth and social misdemeanors. He's here now, and he's looking in a different direction. Hello there, Andy.
He's doing the thing that guy from Florida did. Remember the guy that wrote the book?
Yeah.
He had the OBS.
Yeah.
And it was like, had this shit happening behind. He was like, and he's looking over there.
Yeah. What was that guy? The Lenny Bruce book or something, right? What the?
Well, Lenny Bruce was what the book was about, but I don't remember his name.
Say good morning to Andy Dietrich. Good morning, Andy.
Good morning, Andy. How are you?
Morning, guys. Thanks for having me.
We'll see if it's a good morning. I have a bone to pick with you, young.
Yeah, I got my favorite mug. Got my favorite mug this morning.
Oh, nice.
Little kitty with a bird.
Here's my favorite mug.
That is his favorite mug.
Yeah.
You should put it on an urn. It would look good on an urn. Have you considered that?
Oh, you mean like that one there? Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah. Wait, I'm looking for Andy's book. There it is. Now, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. I've been trying to figure out how, again, because we have plenty of prizes to give away on that comedy book that I put out earlier in the week. What's the title? Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. This is where GD's bone, I think, comes from. The title of the book.
Let's pick it.
Oh, okay. Well, basically, and I apologize to the people who heard me say this earlier in the show, but according to the philosopher Homer or Shakespeare, they said there are no stupid prizes, only stupid winners.
I think he said no stupid questions, only stupid answers, right?
No, I said Shakespeare or Homer, one of those two. You're thinking Lao Tzu.
Okay.
I thought you meant Homer Simpson, so I was way off.
What is the point of the title, Andy?
I think they also said a lot of things. If you ever looked at the size of their books, they said a ton of things, right? Just for the sake of saying them.
Well, I just look at the Reader's Digest version. I don't have time for a whole book.
The ChatGPT
I have
cliff
the
notes.
cliff notes. I have
Exactly.
the cliff notes. Yeah.
Tell me the things I want to hear, right? So the book chronicles my personal mishaps, my questionable decision making, my unsavory moments. It's all more or less in lighthearted fun. No one gets hurt, maybe financially, maybe their ego gets a little bit bruised. By the end of the day, it is just a collection of my silly stories and some excerpts of my life.
Kind of like a
Now, what is a fair share of hardships? Because you said you've had your fair share. How do you determine your fair share and your share and whether or not it's fair? And are these metric shares or imperial shares?
Well, I'm German, so it starts metric, and then I moved to the States, so it's turned into imperial after that. There's a conversion factor that we had to take into account.
Okay, so how does that convert? Is it 1-to-1 or it's?
So it's the difference between I can swear here, or is this a PG-13 show?
There's no fucking swearing on this goddamn channel.
So it's the difference between an imperial shitload and a metric fuck ton. So there's a conversion.
Oh shit!
So I have a question then.
That's serious hardship.
So I have a question then. How do you know if you've had too much hardship or not enough?
So okay,
and can you share it? Because I'd love to offload some of mine.
No. This is not the suffering Olympics, right? This is not me saying I was okay. Look, let me back up. I was never homeless. I never went hungry. I never had a hard life, right? Hard underlined and capitalized. I never had a hard life. Okay.
So you were never black. Okay, we got it. You're never black. Okay, go ahead.
Or had both your legs broke or back broken and can't walk.
Definitely none of those. No. This is a very lighthearted collection of shenanigans. When I say, I wouldn't say I had a hard life. I had an interesting life. Okay, so I do not want to compare my life to someone who really went through a lot of shit, because I've known people who have, and I do not want to take away from the seriousness that their life is. Mine is not like that. Mine is.
It's also relative, because I had a hard life for a white guy, but for a black guy, I had a great life. So it's all relative.
I had a pretty good life for a black guy too. So
yeah, see, it's all relative.
I've had an exceptional life for an ugly old bastard.
Well, look, I was born into a middle income family in Germany, right? I'm a tall white dude. How hard could my life really, really be? Let's be honest, compared to most other people. Okay, not to try to pat my own shoulder and break my own arm. I've had a fairly good life, not just because of who I am and what I am, but because of what I've made it into.
Wow.
Now, how many Star Wars action pieces do you have? Because I see
So you can't see all of them, but there's a few more above me. But this guy right behind me here, that's the big one. It weighs 20 pounds. Look like much from here, but it's the big ones. And it was a fun build.
I was going to ask you if that was
get this one.
Now, those Legos or those models? Sorry?
Yep.
You guys got some good eyes. I can't see anything. Hold on a second. All right.
Now, does the Lego one come with like little Lego action figures that fit inside? I mean,
it does.
Minifigs.
Well, the regular size ones, right? There are some pieces on this one. You can take the ceiling comes off in some of the areas. You can there are some scenes from the movies, and you can put the people in there if you wanted to.
So, oh wow, that is.
It's a good build. If you can afford it, if you have the time, if you have the space, you need space for this guy. I would strongly suggest you get one. If you like Star Wars and Legos, that is. If you don't, then don't get it.
Well, I like the Lego movies. I think they're great, even though they're not real Legos. They're not real Legos, but I think most of them I think are really well written. The scripts are hilarious. I mean, I have no idea who's behind the scenes with these.
The original is great. The Lego movie, phenomenal.
Yeah, the first Batman one.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
hilarious.
I personally don't like Legos because my mom used to build prisons for my dad and keep him in Lego prisons. So it's terrible.
Oddly enough, my mom, who was very much into the more psychological side of things, when I was going through a rough time with her and I wasn't always the best kid to her, she told me that I would build these prisons out of Legos. And that was always during the time when I was having issues like developmental issues. And she's like, you're building your own prisons. I'm like, I didn't know what that meant at the time, but looking back, I'm like, oh, I guess your creative mind is just bleeding through into the real world.
And how was the food?
It's a German, and you're looking for Jews in the neighborhood.
Oh, my God. It's gonna be one of those talks. Okay, great.
Now, I'm curious now. Did you become a Lego person by default, or did you have other options like the erector sets, the Lincoln Logs? Because there were other things, but Legos were like best to me.
I was born and raised in Germany. I was there till between the 80s and the mid 90s. And what happened? All we had was Legos. Okay, so when you guys talk about all American things, like movies and sports and toys and stuff, well, if it wasn't ported over, and back in the day, it took a while, right? Movies weren't always translated when they were released. If we didn't have it, then I never got to experience it. So you guys talking about I'm not saying fancy, right? But your different toys that you grew up with, we rarely had if they just were in the market in Germany. And specifically for Legos, I remember when my parents split up, my brother and I, we both had one big box of Lego pieces. Our parents just cut it right in the middle, and you got one half and you got the other half. And then there were certain sets we couldn't build individually because they came with specific pieces, and he had one piece to the set and I had the other piece to the set.
Like
so
for the wheels,
the set.
Like the wheel things.
It was like a long bar that you had to have two of for the rail to work. And we're like, neither one of us could build the set. And we're like, do you have that one set, that one Lego piece, that one long bar? He's like, yes. You have the other one? Yes. Neither one of us can build it. Damn it.
Wow. So they were teaching you how to be a
problems.
team.
First world problems.
Teaching you to be a team.
Well, yeah, we fought a lot, but we also we reconciled, me and my brother.
Now, who's the oldest?
He is by a year and a half or so. But I love my brother to death, but one thing I will hold against him forever and ever and ever. He was born in May. I was born in December. So come Christmas time, I got one present. Come Christmas and birthday time, he got two presents. I only got one. Wow. I know it's not his fault, but I'm still judging him for it.
Now, how close to Christmas was your birthday?
20th, December 20th. So.
Oh, really? My sister, December 20th.
Yeah, oh, nice. Very cool. Tell her I said hi. This is our birthday babies.
Yeah, and her issue was pretty much the same. Well, no, I take that back. It was the same after my father died, but before my father died, she was firstborn, so she was like the queen of the children. So she got everything and then some.
The name of the show is going to be changed to the GD Family Story Morning Hour, and it's actually 2 hours.
We could call it Barely Living Color.
I like how GD gave me a lot of shit when I first got on board here, and now we're just joshing back and forth. We're like BFFs forever, you know.
Well, I do that to everybody.
We see each other. I see.
Yeah.
So wait till he starts telling you about his mother, though. It's going to be really fun.
Now, your brother your relationship with your brother, since he's the older one, is it like I can fuck with you, but nobody else had better fuck with you because is he protective of you or?
We live separate lives. He lives in Germany. We talk. We see each other once every 5 to 10 years, like physically see each other. We live separate lives, so we are in each other's lives, but we're not like involved in each other's lives.
So,
But when you were growing up, it's like because like in our house,
we fought a lot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Same with how much older is he?
Like a year and a half. He was always stronger. He was always better. We fought a lot, but it was all in good brotherly fun, I guess.
So I'm just trying to get some clarity here. When you emigrated to the United States, what did you do it with your mother and father, or did you do it as a young adult?
So I'll give you the paragraph version of how I got here today. So born in Berlin, lived in a small, and then I moved to my mother and I moved to a small village in the southwestern side of Germany in the Black Forest. Beautiful, beautiful area. At 14, we packed our stuff. We moved to Alaska. There's a little story that goes along with that as well. Lived there for about 5 years, did high school there. At 19, I joined up. I was in the military for a couple of years here in the U.S. military. I was stationed in California. And then in 2004, I decided to pack my stuff once again and moved to Vegas. And I've been here for 21 years now.
Wow.
So what about Vegas made that home for you for the past 28 years?
It's, I told myself coming out of California, which was even then too expensive for a single dude. I told myself I'd move here for a year, maybe 2, see where it takes me. And then you just, I got a job, I got a circle of friends, I went to college, I just started living.
Met a girl?
A couple of girls, a couple of hardships, heartaches, but good times too.
What lives in Vegas stays in Vegas. That's why. High school in Alaska, that had to be quite a...
It was a trip.
Yeah.
It was a trip. Yeah, we negative 40 is no joke, right? People talk about, okay, here's one thing that always kills me in movies when they show that they like fly to the Arctic or whatever, and then they dropped into the water because of movie reasons, and then they crawl out of the water, and then they just kind of keep on trucking. No, you will freeze to death. Like literally, your body will shut down. You have like a few minutes to find warmth and shelter. Otherwise, you're dead. Like you're just dead. Period. So like all these things, like extreme cold, doesn't fuck around.
Wow. No, in Vegas, are you a gambler?
No, I at the most I'll spend $100 on a blackjack table once every 5 years, and then I'll go play poker at a good friend's house once a month, and the buy-in is $100, and then if I lose, I walk away.
The reason I ask, because in the cheat sheet of questions for you, it says, "Why is blackjack?
Okay.
Why is life like blackjack?"
Yep.
It would seem like blackjack coming up to a guy who lives in Vegas, there might be some card play.
That one, it's a little more introspective. So, okay, if you've ever played blackjack, you know the rules of blackjack. You either hit or you stand, right, on whatever card you're dealt or hand you're dealt. I feel like life can sometimes be like that. There are certain situations in life you cannot win. Whether you do option A or option B, you cannot win. Just like blackjack, there are some hands you cannot win. All you can do is take the hit, lose, and try again.
That's a hell of a sad philosophy, but I think I agree with you on that. It's just, I feel like every hand I've ever been dealt is like that. I mean, I can't bluff the opponent.
That's poker.
Yeah. Well,
it's poker. You don't bluff in blackjack. That's a horrible way of playing blackjack when you bluff, because everyone can see your cards.
Right. And the dealer is the opponent is supposed to just
the house. Table.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess I agree with you on that. But life is generally luck. Is that the luck of the draw?
Okay, so I wear this little dude right here, which is a shamrock, right? All the Irish charm for good luck. And when people ask me, "Are you Irish?" I go, "No, I'm German." But this right here reminds me that you have to make your own luck. Nothing is given to you. Nothing is promised. Right? Life doesn't owe you anything. You're there to make your own path.
Right. So now, what branch of the military did you enlist in?
I was in the Marines.
Marines. Oh, yeah. You picked the toughest one. Now,
I didn't pick it, but I'll tell you the story if you want to hear this. Okay.
Yeah, please.
So,
yeah.
Okay. So I was 18, 19 years old, living just teenage life in Fairbanks, Alaska, and this guy would call me up once every couple of months, and he goes, "Good afternoon, sir or ma'am. This is Sergeant so-and-so from the United States Marine Corps." Blah, blah, and just to the whole elevator pitch. And I did not have a good outlook towards the military. So I told him, "Stop calling me." He's like, no problem, sir. We'll call you later. All right. So then 6 months later, he calls me up and he read from the exact same sheet. Good morning, sir or ma'am. He got promoted. This is Staff Sergeant from the U.S. Right. And I go, look, dude, you talked to me 6 months ago. I'm not interested. And he goes, how about you come down here? I'll buy you a cup of coffee and then we can just kind of go over it. In my mind, I thought if I go down there and tell him and look him straight in the eyes and tell him I'm not interested, take me off your damn call list, he will. Plus, I get a free cup of coffee out of it. So I go down there, talk to the dude. Nice dude, right? He was just very barky on the phone. Nice guy. But yeah, he gave me the whole shebang. And I go, you know what? This doesn't sound too bad. Now, if the Air Force would have called me up, if the Navy would have called me up, they probably would have gotten me. But he was the only one who called. So I'm like, all right. And I got a free cup of coffee and he got 4 years out of me. So it was,
good trade. Because the price of coffee now, yeah,
worked out well. I will tell you one story. I have a handful of military stories, but since we're talking about earlier on, you talk about Hitler and Jews and all that. I do have one juicy one. So,
Jew and juicy. I see what he did there.
That's why I giggled.
This guy. So, going through basic training, drill instructors are just the funniest damn people in the world, and they'll deliver these killer lines, this comedic gold straight to your face in this straight monotone voice, and you can't laugh at them because you're getting yelled at, right? But just the funniest, dumbest shit that they'll say. Okay, so about halfway through the 3-month boot camp cycle, they found out I was from Germany, which then gave me the nickname of Germany, right? Easy enough.
Yeah.
So we then go, the last month is field training. You go out into the field, you do like rifle exercises and all kinds of field training and such. So one of them was the gas chamber. So we're all lined up and we all have our gas masks on. You couldn't tell one from the other, right? And then our drill instructor, one of them, the dude that just picked on me for the best of reasons, right? He was like, Germany, where are you? Raise your fucking hand, Germany, where are you? I'm like, fuck, here we go. Like, here, sir. He comes running over. And they have these they call them covers, right? Campaign covers. They're like big hats, right? The round hats. He comes up and he sticks his hat like the brim right over here on my forehead. And I pushes my head to the side and he whispers in my ear and he goes, "All right, Germany, we're going to the gas chamber. Now you'll know what it feels like." This motherfucker.
Holy fuck.
Now they didn't have to call you German. They could have called you Dutch, like Deutschland,
No, so Dutch is, Dutch is oddly enough, Dutch is the Netherlands, which is weird why they would call it the Dutch
but they
English,
even,
but it's a weird how would you say it? Just like the way the words came out, right? For example, in Spanish, Germany is Alemán, right? Alemán, if you tell a German, hey, what does Alemán mean? Ale means all, man man is man. So if you tell a German the Spanish word, it literally translates to all men. How's that make
sense? It's the same. The word for German is the same in French, also.
Yeah, Allemagne.
Yeah. I don't want to get too serious on this, but it ruins the program. But I have German blood. I am a quarter German, and I am outspoken against. I'm outspoken against Nazism in America.
100%.
And I have a lot of German friends who take offense. German American friends. They're not Germans, but it feels like they think I'm insulting all Germans when I talk bad about Nazis. It's like, no, not all Germans are Nazis. Germany gave us Nazis, but there are plenty of Nazis who aren't German at all, and there are plenty of Germans who are not Nazi at all. Do you take offense, or do you think people are coloring all Germans when we say Nazis?
I think the world as a whole has moved away from Germans are Nazis. I think nowadays we do, from what I hear, there is a rising, getting louder group in Germany that are the far right, that are kind of bringing back those ideals. Yeah, and it's not a pretty picture. And I think as a German, I can identify with I can't speak for all Germans, but just what I believe is that we as Germans still feel guilty for the horrible things that we did. When I say we, I wasn't there. I didn't do any of those things, but I still feel some sort of ancestral, historical, global guilt for the shit that our people did to those people. Those are horrendously bad times for us, right? And we don't take any pride in that. So I think as a whole, we understand Germans aren't Nazis, and I don't. Look, man, your ideology needs to be in line with what's good for everybody else, not what's good for you.
I feel
too optimistic, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I feel the same guilt about my slavery ancestry and the things that we put those poor slave owners through. I just feel awful that we could have been more compliant, maybe a little
my
more
God.
respectful.
You gave a whole generation of white people insecurities about how fast they can run and how small their dicks were. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Well, according to my father, and I am ashamed. Well, actually, he's more ashamed of me than I am of myself. But
wow, yeah, it's we live in a very weird world but I have this clip that's been going on forever on the internet where a black guy is punching a guy who's wearing a swastika on his arm, punching a outward Nazi right in the mouth, and there are people I know who take the Nazi side because they're bigots. They hate the black guy.
Come on.
But it's just like, wow, man, when did we start taking the sides of Nazis? And
well, was the black guy a fascist, and that was it? It was more like not an anti-black, but an anti-fascist thing.
There's no real dialogue in it. It's just a punch, and the guy knocks the Nazi out. But the fact that some people who grew up in America, knowing that the history of World War II and all that stuff,
when he punched him, did he give him a right hook? Right?
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was a right cross, really. But yeah.
A right cross, yeah. Okay.
Anyway, coming back to you in the book, it says you have difficulty reading the room. I'm like that. I mean, but people are quick to say, "Well, that's an Asperger's thing," or "It's you must be on the spectrum." When you're just not socially not in tune with other people. Talk to me about that and what that means.
So okay, so I think I do fairly well in social situations, but there's been a couple of times when I would say something. I'll give you an example here in a second. You ever been in those situations where you say something and right as the words leave your mouth, you're like, I should not have said that. Like as even before they hear your
words. Like at a wedding and you say, I do?
What's that?
Like at a wedding and you say, I do?
Well, that's on you if you don't prepare for that day. Okay, so we were at a festival. It was a big rave, right? So think of like loud music, lights, half naked people, lots of drugs, if you're into that kind of thing. So at one point, the group was hanging out by, we're sitting down in an area, trying to catch our breaths and try to recharge. And then I told myself, I'm gonna go get a drink. So I went up and I walked into one of the stores or whatever. As I came back, I saw, I still feel bad to this day. I saw these two rather heavy set young women, both sharing a basket of fries. And I thought in my non-sober stupor, I thought it was super fucking funny if I would go up there and go right into their faces over the basket of fries and go nom 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 nom. And I did. And in my head, I thought it was funny. I thought it was kind of, in the moment, both of these young, again, kind of heavier set young women looked up at me in disgust and just shock. And I realized immediately like how fucked up that was. And I just froze up. My eyes got big and wide. And I said, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. I walked away.
I don't think that's the inability to read the room. I think I read the room. I thought about it, and I think this is just funny to say. That's not inability to read the room. That's like putting your amusement over the room.
In my head, it was funny too, but I don't know. I
think it's funny just the description of it. I would, but maybe I wouldn't if I were them.
It makes for a good story.
You could have avoided all of the shame. You could have avoided all the shame and just put it on video. Then it just would have been a video that you were making.
But put on TikTok.
Well, it could have been worse. You could have just bought another order of fries for them and say, here, obviously this is not going to be enough for the two of you. And here. You don't have to share.
My God.
Wow.
You guys sharing a Diet Coke too? Oh,
I can't review.
Forged re-entry stamps. Now, what does that mean?
Okay.
Does that you're taking them like the things they stamp on your hand when you go back into a club, and you're just kind of doing it?
It is exactly what it is. So let me back up a little bit. So at the time, I was dating a girl that was underage. Drinking age, I meant drinking age, not like under legal age. Just want to make sure, right? Okay. I may be trash, but I'm not trashy. Okay. So this girl wasn't old enough to drink, and me and the boys would go out to the club. And she couldn't get in, even with her fake ID. They're really good at spotting those. So she would just kind of sit those sessions out. Then I thought, well, this is kind of shitty. I want to go out and have a good time with everyone. And she can't join. So then I let my noodle bake for a bit, and I figured, wait a minute, another way to get in is through the reentry line, right? Because when you walk in, you get a stamp on the wrist. You go in, and you can come in and out all night, and they just check the stamp, and off you go, off you're in. So I thought, how hard would it be to make those stamps? Turns out it wasn't that difficult. So it started out small, right? Had a little rubber block that I had an X-Acto knife, and someone went into the club early and they showed me what the stamp was. I sat there and carved at it for like half an hour, dipped it in ink. I'm like, will that work? Squint hard enough, it'll work. So we stamped a couple of friends and we all walked in. I'm like, oh, proof of concept. It works beautifully, right? No cover, no line. You don't have to pay, right? Nothing, right? No ID check. Yeah. So then I weaponized it, and I got a stamp printing kit, like the Martha Stewart, like the whole homemaker, level hardware. And it got to the point where at the height of it, went on for about 6 months. At the height of it, I got so good at it that if someone were to send me the stamp of the night, because they switch their stamps every night at every club, if they send me the stamp, if I didn't have it, because they only had so many they would choose from, I already had a bunch of them made. If it wasn't one I had, then it would take me about half an hour from the minute I got the picture, like just a picture of your wrist, to like a cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching stamp system with like a professionally made stamp, about half an hour. So,
and what was the going rate?
For a hot minute. What's that?
What was the going rate?
So I would have people come over to the house. Now keep in mind, cover, to get into the club at the clubs here were, on a slow night, $40. On a really, really busy night, $80, even $100. Wow. Sometimes they're going to Memorial Day weekend, like a big DJ. You pay quite a bit to get in. So at the house, when word got out, so for slow nights, I charged $10. For busy nights, I charged $20. And it first started out kind of small, but then about 2 months into it, I would have all these people at the house I didn't even recognize, right? They turned to this big mosh of people, and it was like, who are these people? And they'd show up. They drink. Some of them would do their drugs, which I never was a fan of doing it at the house, right? Do it somewhere else. And then they would leave their money, and then they would leave. I'm like, what the hell just happened? Like a party just came through the house and just left 20 minutes afterwards. So anyway, so it went for a while. That was a good time. We had some good memories. But then the way that all kind of fell apart, I had two friends come over, two female friends, on a Wednesday. They said, hey, do you have the stamp for such and such? Yep, come on over. And they got stamped, dropped off their money, then they left. 45 minutes later, I get a phone call, and they're like, we can't get in. Well, why not? They're checking IDs at the reentry line. I'm like, well, I can't help with that. Right? If your ID isn't fine, then if your ID isn't working, then I can't help you. So it turns out, word got out. I don't know by whom. I have a suspicion that it was a disgruntled ex-girlfriend that found out and wanted to fuck it up for everyone. Because that sounds like a girl thing to do. That's not a dude thing to do. That's a girl thing, right?
Whoa.
So my suspicion is a disgruntled ex-girlfriend called it out, and then word got around. All these clubs talk to each other. And once someone says, hey, man, there's a dude making fake stamps, you got to check IDs at the reentry, boom. To this day, this happened about 10-ish, 12 years ago. To this day, they still check IDs at the reentry line. That's all my doing.
That's, you know what? I'm surprised you didn't get paid a visit by some goons from the local clubs, because they're losing money. These people are not paying admission now. They've already, so you
but the real money comes from the alcohol.
I know that, but still, it's money out of their pocket, and they generally don't like that.
You can make that argument, right? At the end of the day, I was asking a legal person if I can get in trouble for writing this out on paper, and she said, look, first of all, it's entertainment. Second of all, they can't prove anything. Third of all, it's up to them to do age control, not you. I'm like, all right, fair enough.
And also, you could stamp your hand with a get out of jail free stamp.
I don't think that'll work the same, but I'll try to be a judge. No judge. Here's my stress card, right?
The ratting out thing is not generally female, though, because I have some experience with getting ratted out, and my family certainly does. Anybody who gets hard feelings towards somebody they know is doing something that's a little shady, people will flip on you and rat you out. So.
Let me rephrase. I think the pettiness of it, sounds female, right? I mean, slashing tires, guys don't slash tires, girls do.
No wonder we have no women listening to this program. We insult them daily.
I know of one who will listen to this one.
Uh-oh.
You want to say her name?
We do.
No, she knows who she is.
We do have.
Are you sure she knows who she is? She may not know. You should help her out.
She's a good one.
You should help her sister out. You should say her name just so she knows who she is.
I don't want to blow her ego too much. No.
Okay.
We do have about 30% female, but that's a minority. I mean, 70% of the audience is male, and so I understand that. Going to school in going back to Alaska, was it hard? I mean, I get pictures of women who never shaved their legs, or girls who never shaved. I mean, I think of Alaska as like the wild frontier. Was girls in high school a challenge?
So I was never very social. I never dated in high school. I had a couple of like high school crush flings, but I was never that popular with the ladies. I had friends, female friends, but I never had like girlfriends, right? But I think the selection, quality and quantity, was about on par. We did have a army base that was really close. We had an Air Force base that was driving distance. So we had a lot of influx of like natives, I guess, right? So there's a lot of, it sounded really awful when I just said it out loud, but you know what I mean? It was a pretty purified mix of people. Yeah. I will say, however, I think my mom said it best. She was talking about the dating pool in Fairbanks, Alaska. She goes, "The odds are good, but the goods are odd."
No, when I was in high school, when I graduated from high school in 77. I gotta write that down
for a T-shirt. Yeah, that's a good. Okay.
When I graduated from high school, 77, one of the options that I considered was working in Alaska. I mean, because there are certain jobs you could make money real fast for
fishing, crabbing.
And, yeah, and in 77, working the Alaskan pipeline.
Oh yeah, so much money in that.
Yeah, and I was like this close to, because it was that I could go to Detroit and work, the automotive, industry, but I really thought I could do Alaska, and the reason I didn't was because they said that the ratio of men and women was 10-1 at that time back then.
I didn't see it that badly. And then again, I only saw high school, and high school was pretty even in my opinion.
Well, I'm pretty sure I'm a lot older than you.
Probably.
Yeah. I'm 66.
When you were talking about toys before, I was thinking my toys were bronze because I grew up in bronze.
GD, you graduated 3 years after my mom was born.
Your mother was born in 74?
Yeah.
I've had girlfriends who were born in 75. So there you go. Wow. And that's me.
You must be the Monopoly guy.
Why? Does he date a lot of women who were born in 1975?
According to training orders.
Okay. Now, one day you just got up and decided my life would make my life stories would make a great book. Right, that's why you wrote this book. So you decided I'm going to be an author. Was this?
Yeah, I don't. Okay, so the antithesis. Oh shit, that's a big word. So the way this came together was that I was telling the same 20 stories over and over and over. Right, maybe 30 stories, and they all had their cadence. They all had their punchline. They all had their that made me think. moment. And I thought maybe I can put this into a book. And if you read it, the first half is my silly stories, as I call them, right? The nom 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 story, the drill instructor story, the making the fake stamps story. The second half is a little more serious, a little more somber, right? Introspective rants. Life is like blackjack, right? Some realizations. Talk about some friends who are no longer with us. So it's more of like my time to kind of explore, some more serious topics. And as I start putting this all together, the thing I was worried about is not having enough material for a book. I didn't want to have 50 pages and then try to publish that. That's silly. But it came together. It took me about 2.5 years. It came together. I'm happy with what it is. I'm proud of having written it. And I'm just I don't know. It was just a project, a side project that I've been meaning to do. People say that they want to paint their painting or write their manuscript or I don't know, whatever their little whatever their project is. And they talk about it. And every month they say, I'm still working on it, even though they haven't, right? And they get that little dopamine rush from their friends who are like, oh yeah, we can't wait to see it when it's finally out. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that guy. So I didn't tell anyone, literally nobody, until it was out.
You don't want to be Matt. You don't want to be Matt or me.
I don't want to be that guy who's always teasing about their big project that never comes to fruition. Like just fucking do it, like don't talk about it, do it. And like I said, took 2.5 years. And then when I was done, it was done. And my friends were like, you wrote a book? I'm like, fuck yeah, I did. Like, where's your project? I made it.
So are you done? You're not gonna write more? Yeah.
So okay, so I've worked in IT for 25 years. I'm an IT guy. I'm a computer dude. I don't, even though I've written this book, I don't see myself as a writer. Sure, I've written it, but that's not my profession. That's not what I do. This is a side project. Now, if a big publishing house were to say, "Hey, man, here's $50,000, write a second one," okay, maybe we'll talk then, right? But I poured a lot into this, and this is probably where it's going to be.
So what your job is, and when you say that's not my job, that's not what I do. Your job is you work for Elon. You're hacking my social security number.
He's already been done. as we're talking, right?
Fuck. All right. Well, I hope you enjoy the $6 I had left.
We felt so bad about your financial situation. We put some Bitcoin in it. You just have to figure out a way to cash it. Okay.
Yeah. So what exactly? I mean, what is your role in IT? Are you a web designer? You are a coder? You are a
security?
guy?
No, I'm a systems guy. So I'm behind the scenes. I make sure the lights are on. And okay, here's the analogy I give. If you want to build a building, right? I make sure that the codes, the area that you want to build on is zoned properly. If you want to have a road built that leads up to your building, I make sure the permits are in. I make sure there is no any kind of no-fly zone above it. I make sure all the other things come together before you can start building, right? That's my job in IT.
But with the deregulation, nobody's going to care about those things, right?
What do you mean?
Basically, you could do whatever you want with deregulation. You could build wherever you want. You don't have to build anything to code. You don't have to worry about any ordinances or where you can build, right?
Well,
probably not in computers.
different.
If you don't do standards and such in computers, it'll work for now. But it's like a building built on a shitty foundation. You're gonna start having issues. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow. But at some point, it's going to fall apart. You're going to have people using it in a way it's not supposed to be used. You're going to have issues with the different systems that connect to it, authentication problems. Getting real geeky here for a second, but it's the same thing as construction. You better have a good foundation. Otherwise, you're going to pay for it later.
I get it, man. Those regulations and the safety,
There's a reason.
they're there for a reason.
Yeah.
But we seem to live in a culture where we think every rule is bad. And like, let's do away with all the rules.
Well, every rule I don't like is bad.
Every rule that will stop me from making the maximum dollar or penny, whatever.
If I don't like it, it's fake news, right? If I don't agree with it, it's a hoax.
Yeah.
Simple, right? That's how people live.
I mean, back in the day when I used to program, I would design a game.
Basic
program
assembly.
Actually, yeah, machine language.
Oh shit! Oh, I give you props for that. That's tough. I was giving you shit, but that's pretty tough.
That's because we didn't have back then. The computers were so like if you had 8K, that was a big computer.
Yeah.
And so what we were doing is we would reassign, but the computer had its own memory where you could peek and poke and stuff like that, like where the letters were.
Dude, you're aging yourself. That's legit. I can geek out with you. That's solid.
Yeah, so we would redefine characters. So if we were building a game and we didn't need letters, we would take the memory wherever the memory was stored wherever the letters were stored in the memory.
Yep.
We would redefine the letters and make them into characters.
Yep.
Because we didn't need the letters, we just needed numbers to keep score. And so I would do that, and then I had a friend named Richard. His job was to crash the game. His job was to find out what you do to the game to make it crash, so that we could fix it, so that when they do that, it wouldn't crash. It would say, "Oh, if they do that, then we're going to do this."
There was a friend of mine who did quality QA. He did beta testing for Red Alert, right? The original Red Alert. If you ever played that one from the 90s, right? He told me a story about there was a certain map, a certain mission where you get dropped off at a beach by this transport ship or whatever. The units come out of it. And then what he did, he took all the units and shoved them back into the transport, and the transport was programmed to then take off. So he did all that. He shoved his units back in, which you're not supposed to do. And then the transport takes off, and then you're stuck with an empty map and nothing happens, and the game just keeps on running. And so the developer was like, "You're not supposed to do that." He goes, "Yeah, but that's what I do. I'm supposed to break the game so you guys can fix it." So what they did to fix it, they just locked you out of the controls until the transport ship has taken off. It just completely took the controls away from you. That's how they fixed the problem. If you play that game now, there's a mission of that. That's exactly what I'm talking about right there, that one mission.
Wow. When did the book come out? has it
About
been
2
out?
years ago. Yeah, it took me about 2.5 years to write, and then it came out summer of 2023, something like that. Yeah.
Have you heard from anybody who said, because the amusing part is obvious, but have you heard from people who have taken the inspiration part or the philosophical part to heart and said, well, this really impacted my life in some way?
I've had, when I ask people, right, I ask for genuine feedback, and I ask people whenever you get done reading it, right, please go on Amazon and leave me a genuine, and I really mean that, leave me a genuine review. If you like it, say that. If you didn't like it, you can say that too. Like, I want real honest feedback and tell me what you did or did not like about it. And when I talk to friends and family who have read it, it's about 50-50. Some like the first half of the silly stories better, and others really, really connected with my more introspective thoughts and beliefs in the second half of it. So it's about half and half, right? It speaks to, has a pretty wide range, right? It's fun stories, it's silliness, it's one-liners, it's dad jokes, it's non-jokes, it's complete inappropriate punchlines, and then there's some stuff that talk about that's a lot more, makes you think just a little bit, right? So
now, if this were adapted to film, would it be conducive to be like one? Could they be attached to like one story, like one long movie, or would it be like a series of snippets?
Yeah, I think more like sketch comedy, right? They're all short stories. They're about half a page is the shortest, 3.5 pages is the longest by far. So they're all short stories. That's one great thing about it that people have given me their feedback on. It's a short read. It's a great shitter book or a great travel book, right? You can sit down, you can read it for 5 minutes, you can read it for 50 minutes, right? They're all short stories.
Yeah.
And if you're constipated, you can read it twice.
Well,
are you a single guy or in a relationship, married? What's your status?
I'm in a happy relationship. She's good to me. I'm good to her, I think.
She's happy too, then?
I mean, yeah,
one of you could be happy and the other one not.
No, Steven, pretty well.
Sorry.
I was just wondering, like, what kind of cachet does the "I'm an author" have as a pickup line?
So I used to go with my friends a lot and be single Andy, and we used to go out and hunt or whatever the term is nowadays, right? And I found that usually, almost always, trying to boast your way into a situation or into a conversation doesn't work, right? If you come out with, here's how much money I make, here's the kind of job I have, here's the kind of car I drive, here's the kind of house that I live in, no, that's gonna shut you down pretty quickly. So if I were to be single, if I were to be out there doing my thing, that has to come out naturally, organically. Or hell, I would tell my friend, hey man, can you work into the conversation that, hey, Andy wrote a book. That's great. You know, it's a great thing to say, but I can't say about myself. That sounds braggy.
Unfortunately, you could actually use the pickup line and say, you know, I have a Millennium Falcon. You could be my Wookiee. You know, you could, you know, just, and if she buys it, then she's like,
we used to say shit like in the IT world, be like, hey baby, you want me to defrag your hard drive? Right? It doesn't make any sense.
I would be saying inappropriate things like, you're probably not for me because you don't look like the kind of person who could read.
How's that me? Christ.
What was that?
Speaking of pickup lines, let me share with you one of my more entertaining, silly stories. So this involves one of my favorite human beings in the world, Josh. So
I thought you were going to say me. Never mind. I thought you were going to tell the story about me.
You're a close number third, but you still got a little bit of work to do there.
Okay, so tell the one about Josh then, because I love that story too.
You were fourth when I first joined, but you worked your way up to 3. So we're making incremental. Anyway, so Josh, I lived with him for a couple of years, and he was a bit of he was definitely very single for a little while. And we have this one girl come over one time. They went into the backyard. We had a hammock, and they did things back there. And then about half an hour into it, I hear the patio door like fling wide open. I hear stomp, 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 and then through the front door and slam. I'm poking my head out the side of the room that I was in. I'm like, what the hell happened? And Josh comes into the room and he starts grinning and laughing and smiling. I'm like, what did you do? It's like, well, he tells me he was in the hammock with this girl and they were starting to get a little more physical and one thing leads to the other. And she started, giving him a little physical, little manual assist, right? And after a while she was complaining. She goes, are you about to finish? My arm's getting tired. And then Josh, love him to death, in the most typical Josh fashion, he turns to her and he goes, "Well, is your mouth tired?"
Oh.
And she stormed the hell out of the house, but it made like for the best story.
Wow.
So I guess the answer was no, because she just left and
I
used her
tell
mouth to tell her friends.
people she wanted to say no. All I heard was
her mouth wasn't tired to scream a bunch of really rude things at him and then run out of the room. So.
Yeah, she probably did. But hey, he started giggling and laughing, so it was a good story. I'm like, tell me what just happened. You have to tell me. You couldn't.
Now, you have been very forthcoming about the book here. We were talking yesterday because Stephen has a show on that's Monday nights where he's interviewing weirdos, but weirdos who generally have books. Beyond Classified is the name of the show. But we're talking about how so far the guests he's have are reluctant they come on the show because they are authors, but they just want to say, well, you got to buy the book. You got to buy the book. You're not going to share they're not going to share any of the stories within the book. Do you feel any ambivalence about, if I sell too much? Obviously, you've been talking about the book in pretty good detail about, well, if I give away too much, there's no reason for them to buy it.
Okay, look. I have a whole stack of these. Like, you can't see it, but I have a whole stack of these. The stack is like this tall from here, from the floor to up here. I bought a bunch of these. Okay, so I'm going to put my little plug in here because right now is a good time. If you go to andysbook.com/gift, again, andysbook.com/gift, if you trust me with your information, and I swear I'll do nothing nefarious with it, if you give me your info, I'd be more than happy, and I really mean more than happy, to send you a signed copy. I have tons of these. Please help me get rid of them, okay?
All right. Wow.
I got the same situation with, I have CDs. When my band, we made a CD like in the 90s, and I have all of these CDs in my basement.
From a CD burner, right? From a CD burner?
No, I sent on a record company.
Like a stamped one?
And yeah, these are real, like,
oh shit.
Yeah,
CD baby. Well, I just got a bunch that got sent back to me because they discontinued doing CDs. The warehouse isn't going to hold them anymore. But
yeah, they're all real CDs, all wrapped in plastic, and the whole professionally done.
That's legit. Hell yeah! And you have like 100 of those left over? 1,000?
Oh, I think I have 560 downstairs.
Yeah.
Wow. This has been.
It's Andy's book /gift. Just gift with a singular, not gifts.
Oh, all right. Let me take that out of there.
And again, if you want a copy, look, even to your point earlier, right? How do I feel about the material coming out and me not making any money off of it? Look, I'll give you the book is $12 online. I get $4.80 for each copy that's sold. I don't care. Look, I make decent money with what I do. I just want to get the word out. If you enjoy the book, that's all I ask.
Very
right.
Cool.
And hell, even if you come to me and say, hey man, I can't afford the $12. Can you send me a PDF? Fuck yeah, I can. Like it's there to be read, not there to be made money from,
Yeah. And this is kind of where I was going to go, because for years, and probably more than a couple of decades, I've been on this thing where if you give it away, people aren't going to read it. If you can, if they give you anything of their hard-earned money, then it has value. They're determined to read it because I paid for this thing. Because I used to be one of those guys who gave away CDs, and then I'd go to their house and I'd see it was a coaster.
Fair point.
Yeah, people don't necessarily
look. At least yours got used. My CD, I gave my mother one. After she died, we're going through her things, and she never even opened it. And she didn't even use it as a coaster. It was like in her nightstand in the back behind her, like heart medicine, which she didn't take.
Well, I mean, do you blame her after all that crack the sky bullshit?
Right.
I mean, I'm firmly in her corner.
We went an hour and 57 minutes today, the longest we've ever gone without GD bringing up his mother.
First of all, I didn't dig her. You bring her up, but they said dig her up. Never mind. Okay, never mind. They just said dig her up. I said I didn't dig her up.
All right, so tune in Monday. We'll be timing him to see how far we can get Monday without hearing about Mom. He's got some real mom issues. Some Dr. Freud, can I lay on your couch issues with Mom. So now, any inclination like Germany having dual citizenship, going back? Do you go back regularly or ever?
We're planning on going this summer, right? I'm going to introduce her to my family face to face. Her meeting my girlfriend, right, to the rest of my German family. We're going to do a bit of a Europe trip. Right? There's a couple other places we want to go to, but generally once every 10 years or so, I go back. Not too often.
Is anything, any memories of like just something that was just wonderful about Germany that most people wouldn't know?
So maybe not. Okay, so one thing that I've been noodling for a little while is that, okay, I grew up in a small village, like I said, in the Black Forest, beautiful area, and I spent a lot of my adolescent years, right? So like from age 5 to about 14, so very formative years. Made a lot of memories, right? Good memories for the most part. Made a lot of friends, and I remember that time very, very fondly. And when I went back last time, which was about 2000 and right before the pandemic, 2019, I went to go visit that village, and it felt completely off. Of course, the buildings are still there, the streets are there, the playgrounds we used to play at, right? It's all still there, but it felt foreign and alien to me. Wow. And I guess I was going back with the assumption that I was going to relive that childhood time or those good years. And I came to the realization that life, that part of my life, that village, in the way that I remember it, only exists here. And that's the only place I'll ever live. And that was a bit of a disheartening moment, but that's just the way it is, right? It's just that was maybe not a fantasy, right? It was I don't know, it's just a realization, I guess, right, of life. When you remember something fondly, but you have it locked in time, there's nothing you do about it. You may hold on to that memory, and I've told myself that life, that place, that good memory, you can visit it in your mind, but don't live there.
Yeah. Now, when you were growing up in Germany, did you have like a favorite comfort food? And once you came to America, could you still have that comfort food, or did you have to replace it with something else?
So I will say one thing that Germany does exceptionally well. There are many things. What?
Strudel.
What the fuck? Well, chocolate.
That's not wrong.
You're not. Chocolate is so freaking good in Germany, and here in the United States, even the good chocolate, even like the fancy chocolate, in my opinion, doesn't even come close to it. And it's so cheap over there. It's so delicious.
You're
it's
talking
good.
to a hardcore chocolate addict. I gotta go to Germany now.
It's not full of sugar. Like I feel like the desserts here, the sweets, everything in the United States is just so jam-packed full of sugar. It's disgusting. Over there, it's flavor, and it really tastes good.
See, I go.
So, how did you compensate for that then? Because you, I mean, I guess. Well, now you could probably order German chocolate online and have it shipped.
I have a plug, right? So my dad, whenever he asks what I want for Christmas / my birthday, because they, like I said, they're all close to each other.
December 20th.
Every year, I ask him to send me a box of chocolates, right? And he comes through every year. Like every year, he sends me this 10, 20-pound box of all the German chocolates I could ever want for the year, and I have a whole stack of them in the kitchen. 20 pounds this year. 20 pounds.
So from January to March, you're diabetic? Is that what you just said?
I can't even eat it all. I give most of it away, like to friends, to family. When they invite us out for dinners, I bring a thing of chocolate, right? Because of course you can buy it here if you wanted to, but it's a novelty here, right?
Matt, I smell road trip to Vegas, baby.
That's right. Come on by. I got plenty of it still. I got plenty of it.
Yeah, well, I've been wanting to go back. I haven't been to Vegas in almost 10 years. I definitely need to get back.
When he went to Vegas, I'm down. Let's go. Vegas, the strip was lit with candles.
I'll buy your first round. Come on down. I'll have you here. It'll be a good time.
Wonderful.
Hey, I've never been. Let's go, guys. You guys pick me up on the way.
My German grandmother, who was born in Germany, she used to make what she called German pancakes, but they weren't pancakes. They were like potatoes, like really spicy potatoes. But you guys ever have what's called German pancakes up on the top there? You even know what I'm talking
pancakes. about? I know I ate pancakes, but I don't know that recipe. Like potatoes, spicy.
Potato pancakes.
We just call them potato pancakes. I grew up with potato pancakes.
Fucking unbelievable. I mean, now that's what I'm gonna do today. I'm just gonna.
No, we could afford flours. We weren't that poor. We had to eat potatoes.
Well, see, ours was mainly because of leftovers, Yeah.
Dude, leftovers are bomb. Okay, leftovers are the shit. I love leftovers.
Wow. When I was here's another mother reference. When I got my first place to myself, when I wasn't living with another woman or a wife or something, my first bachelor pad, I called my mom and I said, "Mom, I want the recipes for such and such." And she goes, "You realize that wasn't a recipe, right? That was just leftovers." That's it.
Oh.
But she used to give it names, everything. She said she had this one dish she called Spanish rice. which I grew up thinking that was what Spanish rice was. No, my mother goes, there was no recipe. It was a leftover. Whenever we had chicken and rice and peas left over, I made that and called it that.
Wow. Yeah, you know what? I can't picture you living on your own telling, because there'd be nobody to tell stories about your mom.
Are you kidding? I had fish. I had fish.
All right. Andy, we appreciate you being here. You're a good guy, man.
Thanks for having me.
Let me ask you about the name, though. Dietrich. Do you even know who Marlene Dietrich was?
Absolutely. I get the reference every so often, not a whole lot. It's mostly like an older crowd that recognizes the last name, right? And I tell people, like, look, my full name is Andreas Dietrich, but I just go by Andy because English speakers just cannot say the R properly. They can't say the soft CH properly. You can try, but there's just no such sound in the English language that makes you, say properly. So it's just Andy Dietrich is fine, and that works.
I had a guy worked with at a company that rhymes with Random House, and he'd been in the company for 18 years when I got there. He was Indian, and nobody called him by his last name. They all called him G, but nobody liked him. He was like a despicable human being, but they called him G. And when I got there, I explained to him, I said, you realize that you're calling him in term of endearment. Because G in India is like, it's in term of endearment. Mm-hmm. Like Gandhi was called Gandhi G. That was so I said, this guy that you claim that you hate, you're calling him a term of endearment just because you don't want to learn how to say his last name.
That's funny.
After 18 years, nobody called. When I went to him, he even stopped using his last name. He just said, call me G.
That's funny. We had a captain in the military. He was a shorter Hispanic guy, and they called him behind his back. They called him Paragraph, Captain Paragraph, because he wasn't tall enough to be an essay.
I like it. Wow, look at that robust laugh. That's the hardest I've heard him laugh in 2.5 years.
I am ashamed I never thought of that. That is so fucking funny.
So fucking brilliant.
Yeah,
it is. It's fucking brilliant.
Are you a fan of comedy? When I say comedy, I mean stand-up comedy. Are you? Do you see much of it out there in Vegas?
I enjoy it. Right, I have my favorites. I used to listen to Tosh back in the day. Back in the day before they were famous, kind of people. What's her name? Taylor Tomlinson. Before she became kind of big, I watched her initial like stand-up. One of the funniest I remember to this day is Pablo Francisco, like his very first one on Comedy Central was a 20-minute special. It was so freaking funny. So I enjoy it, but I feel like here in Vegas, the shows are so kind of it's not saturated. They're so made for mainstream, right? They're entertaining, but
so
usually by the
commercial.
time they get, very commercialized. By the time they get to Vegas to do stand-up, I feel like a lot of the good material has already been said, and they're forced, I'm pretty sure they're forced to come up with new stuff. And just like, what's his name?
Carrot Top?
No, I'm trying to think of
Wayne Newton.
No. I can't remember his name right now. But he was the comedian who got in trouble for jacking off in front of girls.
Louis C.K.
That's right, Louis C.K. I've been watching his material for like the last decade. It was fucking phenomenal early on, but then it's got more and more watered down. I feel like when they come to Vegas, they've already gotten so much material out of them that there's so little to squeeze out of them, right? So I feel like the stuff they bring to town here is so kind of blah compared to the original stuff that, I don't know, I feel like if you want to see comedy, go to like a smaller Comedy Cellar and enjoy it there.
Vegas is kind of multi-personality. It was Sin City, then it wanted to become like a family destination, but it's still trying to hold on to some of that. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Yeah.
So you'll have families going there and little kids walking to a casino where there's a stripper on the table or something. It's just a very weird.
That's why it has to stay in Vegas. You don't want your kids going back and telling people, my mom and dad took me to a brothel.
I get it, but it feels like it can't decide who it really is.
Yeah, we tried the whole family-friendly thing for a while. Didn't work out, right? They recanted that pretty quickly, but now it's back to what happens here stays here, and it's very adult, right? Of course, there's things for kids, but don't bring your kids here. Like, leave them at home, come here, spend your money, be silly, be a tourist.
They know exactly who they want to be. They want to be the last ones holding your dollar. That's what they want to be. They want to be the last ones holding your dollar.
They do a good job at that. I have to say they do a very good job at that. Andy, thank you for being part of the program.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Had a good time.
AndysBook.com/gift, folks. That's where you're gonna go.
Please and thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being here, man, and you're welcome back anytime. Thanks.
Awesome.
Yeah, you're a great guy. I like you.
Likewise.
I like
had a
you.
good time with you guys too. Thank you.
And now when I say I like you, I don't mean that as soon as you're gone, I'm going to say to Matt, don't have that motherfucker back on the show. I mean, I really like you. I feel like if you lived next door, you'd be sick of me hanging out at your house and eating your chocolate.
Come to Vegas. We'll hang out.
All right. Have a great day. Thanks for being here. Bye.
Thank you.
Andy Dietrich, what happened here?
I'm so glad he's gone. My God. No, just no. No.
Let's go to Vegas. I'll drive.
I'm down for it. I'm down for it.
Yeah, you're down for it. All right. Yeah, you know what? I have to get back to Vegas. I've been a Luxor or Mandalay Bay guy for every time I go out there. I need to see some of the. I need to get around to some of the other.
I've just never
every
been.
year. What was that?
I've just never been.
Never been to Vegas? Here's what we should do. I think.
I thought we were doing a show at some place that we didn't do the show at yet. Was there some comedy thing?
What was the Louis J. Gomez? His fest. His
Skankfest.
Speak American.
Right? Skankfest?
Yeah, Skankfest happens in Vegas, right? I think it's in January. I'm not sure about that.
No, it's happening in the fall this year, I believe.
So there's something that happens first week of January, right?
New Year's Eve?
No, that's right. Skankfest is in New Orleans this year, I believe. It was in Vegas last year in the fall.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, so I guess that's a show. Is that a show, or we got nothing left to talk about, right? We've talked about every murder, every possible death, every possible we've talked about Marlena Dietrich's legs.
Mickey Delaney says, hi, everybody. I'm just seeing it now. I was so busy running my mouth, I didn't notice that he had posted.
You and Mickey got a thing going on. Yeah.
Me, Mickey D.
Hey, Mickey, you're so fine. You're so fine. Now, you brought up Wayne Newton. Didn't we have a thing with Stephen trying to explain to Stephen who Wayne Newton was?
I thought we were trying to explain Fig Newtons.
Or did I dream that? Is that like?
I think that's a dream, like me getting beat up. I think that's a dream, like me getting beat up by that person.
By that person. Look, you're scared because you know.
No, I don't want to. Look, if you don't want to talk about it, I'm not going to talk about it. You decided not to talk about it.
No, but the way you avoided the word to say that person.
Oh no, because I didn't want to divulge what you were talking about.
All right,
unless you want to divulge it.
I had a dream. GD was in my dream last night.
I got some footage of Wayne Newton.
Uh-oh. Dankeschön. That's
fuck you!
What is that?
Spaghetti.
Wrestling.
Looks like spaghetti.
Spaghetti acupuncture? Like this, jamming it into his forehead?
Yep.
Ouch.
So what's that? Is that a Nazi initiation?
Like, yeah, that guy is.
That's the
like,
backyard wrestling shit.
Yeah.
What that is. That's backyard wrestling.
Where was that? TikTok or Instagram?
That was from Instagram.
That's the weirdest shit. Like, that guy wasn't resisting in any way, so he was welcoming the pain of having spaghetti jammed into his. For people on the radio, I'm being
Yeah, like being at a Wayne Newton concert.
Yeah. This is what happened. Last night during the painting, I was painting, and Stephen said Donkey Shane or something like that.
Donkashay.
Yeah, Donkashay. It's Donkashane, which was
I didn't know I didn't know exactly, so I just went with it.
Wayne Newton had a hit with that, like 1962, 1963. Wayne Newton was a very weird dude. He started at. People thought he was a woman. Even with the name Wayne, because he had this high-pitched voice and he was singing these like show tunes, and then he became like a Vegas mainstay where he had the biggest show in, I think it was the Sahara, but his weird, very weird career of Wayne Newton. I think I was trying to explain that to you last night, and then it came up today. Dankeschön, everybody. All right, so it's a weekend. Anybody do anything this weekend? Because
I'll be at Give a Hoot Comedy Club tomorrow night. I'm doing a spot there.
Give a Hoot?
Yeah, it's a fundraiser show, but like the guy who is headlining was on Last Comic Standing. And
what's the do you know what the fundraisers for? What the cost?
Yeah, I'd have to pull it up here.
Oh, so yeah, Stephen, you doing it? Stephen's on. He's looking for a home. That's what he's doing.
I had to cancel. I had to cancel my next month's.
I did not mean to do that. I'm sorry.
What do you mean?
Mine is for benefiting Richard Montgomery Corral Boosters, whatever that is.
Dick Montgomery. I like to call him Dick Montgomery. Richard. I always like to call anybody named Richard Dick because I don't like the name. All right. And Stephen, what are you doing? You just beating off to the Kobe Fox?
No, I mean I could, I suppose, but no, I canceled all my upcoming gigs for the next month, and I'm looking at job hunting. I think this weekend probably.
Oh my God! What has happened? Oh, your world is collapsing. No job.
And I still have my headlining gig in April, and I've organized a ride for that. But the rest of the gigs, I just don't have transportation.
You can't walk?
Yeah.
Oh, you can't walk. I'm sorry. I didn't realize. Wow, that was insensitive of me. Which is what I do.
Yeah, I'm job hunting this weekend and I might just say fuck the Medicaid and all that and just work myself into the ground and at least try to die in a nice coffin. So
I'm not sure I want.
Then once I get a car, back to comedy. So
we can. This book is still available for free download if you want. People, stand-up comedy: The Secret to Becoming a Successful Comedian. The secret is not being a comedian, and I don't know. Secret is be funny, be really fucking funny. That's the secret. You don't need to have a whole book to just write that. Be really fucking funny, right?
Maybe it's just 200 pages that each say that.
Right. All right. So the book is available. If anybody wants, just contact me. You know what? Sign up on my mailing list. As soon as you sign up on the mailing list, you'll get a copy of that for free. I got to get the whole list of free things that we're going to be giving away and just load them up and just just get people. We're giving shit. This is becoming a giveaway show. All right. So I guess we'll wrap this up here and now.
Before we go, I just want to show everybody the full picture that I got here. That's all. My urn.
Wait, don't show us your ass.
No, that is see.
Oh, hold on. You could do that like this. Here you go. Ernie L's fun.
No, but see if I stand up, you still. That's why I have to get out of the picture.
Ernie L's fun putt. Now, is that like a mini golf thing? Is that what the hell? Miniature golf?
That's my urn being used for a fun putt thing.
Ernie L's.
Yeah, he was a golfer.
I know.
Ernie Els was a professional golfer.
Wow. So you are a big golf fan. So you know John Mahaffey, who is going to be rescheduled for next week.
We go way back.
All right. Okay, that's it. We're done for a week. We made it through a week, and I should be grateful for that. I'm going to be doing a paint party in the Snooty Hamptons tomorrow night. Yeah, the Snooty Hamptons. They're not going to like me. They're going to leave a bad review saying, "What are you sending this dirtbag from the South Shore of Long Island over here? We don't like these people."
I have a thing this afternoon where I'm pretty much trying to work with this guy to get an agent. So.
Wow, good for you. All right, that's the show. Turn on your radio.
Finish inside me. Finish inside me.
Speak American.
What you wanna do, baby?
me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen